Anyone else like to share? How about you in the back with the glasses, sir?
My name's Bobby, and I am an addict.
Hey, Bobby.
Hi, Bobby. You know, you folks aren't here because you're gamblers. You are here because you are terrible gamblers.
Hey, Bobby.
These folks don't need to stop doing what they're doing. They just need to get better at it. Who's dealing?
Please.
Who's in?
Who's in? The Wicked Wednesday has begun. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people of Boston, and everybody else in between, from Costa Rica to California, Montreal to Minnesota. The 4th of July edition of the Late Night Anger Management class is now in session. All right, we're in calm before the storm mode right now. As the World Cup resumes on Friday, the Canadian Football League resumes on a Thursday night. The National Football League preseason is rapidly approaching. We've got college football news. We've got college football talk here this evening as the Georgia Bulldogs, of course, one of the contenders to win the championship this year, got bad news as their quarterback broke his hand on a boat. Yeah, it's his non-throwing hand freak boating accident. And it's funny because I've got Jaws on right now in the background here. And I don't know if it's the movie Jaws that taught me an early lesson when I was a youngster and I saw this movie in the theater, but nothing good happens in the water, man. Right? Man was not meant to be in boats or at sea. Like the water is like, it's sort of like, if a shark comes onto land, he's fucked. You go into the water, nothing good's going to happen. Supposedly he was just standing there and some rope came flying down and smashed his hand and broke his fucking hand. At least that's the story that they're going with right now. Non-throwing hand at that. Yet, nevertheless. Fromm breaks his hand. Kyrie Irving wants to go to the New York Knicks. Kyrie, like, how many games did you play for the Celtics? Fuck, like 13 or something like that? Yeah, Kyrie's decided he's not down. So we're already into like next year's mode. Jimmy Butler and Kyrie Irving could be on the Knicks next year. You know what? I don't care. I'm not going to start breaking down where these jerk-offs are going to bail to next year. If Kobe Bryant wants to accept LeBron James into Los Angeles, it doesn't mean that Kobe Bryant's fans are. Somebody put LeBron James's face on a Kobe Bryant mural. Some fan like fucking took it off with his shoe somehow. It was like high up, man. He threw his shoe. He threw his shoe like 150 times at this fucking thing. And he finally knocked LeBron's face off. That's where we're at right now. LeBron must be thinking, what the fuck did I just do? People in LA are ripping my face off of murals. Nobody motherfucking wants to come here. There's a great video of DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan's from Los Angeles. DeMar DeRozan's in Los Angeles right now. And DeMar DeRozan's like walking down the street and some Laker fan sees him and is filming it. He says, hey, DeMar DeRozan. DeMar looks over and you can hear people, oh shit, that is DeMar DeRozan. And they're like, man, join the Lakers. We got LeBron. And DeMar DeRozan looks over. He's like, hell no. Which is fucking gold. And honestly, I see that, and I just think, oh, for sure he's going to be on the Lakers now then in like 2 years. That's always the case. It's like Rajon Rondo. There's a picture of Rajon Rondo all smiles with someone that says, Bron is a bitch. And Rondo's like pointing at it, all smiles. So it's always the way. Josh Allen was once tweeting about how hot A.J. McCarron's girlfriend is, and now they're on the same team. What I want to know is how the motherfucker did fucking somebody get LeBron's face on that Kobe mural? Like, I really, that's, what's up, Brooks? And have you seen that video? Like, that's what I wondered. I'm like, how the fuck did you get LeBron's face up there in the first place? And this motherfucker's persistent. There's two videos. There's one where it just sort of shows him knocking it off. But there's an extended one where you see him. He's there for like fucking like 10 minutes. He's like, he takes his shoe off and he throws it. At first, it's not going anywhere, but he's pretty determined, man. And he hit LeBron's face, and then LeBron's face was sort of dangling. And then the guy was pretty good. He figured it out. You see, like at first he was whipping the shoe at the face. And then after he realized, no, I got to just sort of fucking throw it straight up. LeBron's face comes down. You see him swat it. Yeah. Yeah, Kobe fans are unimpressed, fuck. Man, they just blew Jaws up in the movie. I was at Universal Studios. I went on the Jaws tour. And even though you know it's coming, it still scares you. It got me. It got me. Like you're in the water and shit, and you know, you're in the water and you're cruising along, and then suddenly fucking Jaws attacks you and shit at Universal Studios. When I was a kid, too, I actually went to Nantucket. My grandfather liked Cape Cod a lot. And I've been to Cape Cod many times as a youngster. And after this movie came out, I went to the town and shit. And little known fact about me, I was big time in the Sharks when I was a kid. I saw Jaws in the theater, all right? I'm fucking old. I saw Jaws in the theater. I was like 7 years old or whatever, fucking whenever it came out. When it come out? 1977, 1978, 7 or 8 years old. And, you know, it wasn't for kids. And I remember the guy at the movie theater specifically like telling my father, you know, this isn't, he goes, this isn't a movie for kids. And I remember my father telling the guy in the movie theater to shut the fuck up. He was like, you know, when I want your opinion, what my son watches, I'll let you know. He pulls me in. I'm like fucking 7 years old watching Jaws fucking rip people apart and shit. I'm watching Jaws as a kid, except I was all in. Like, I was cheering for Jaws. Like, I was pissed off when they got Jaws. I wanted to see Jaws kill more people. So I was pulling for Jaws, and I got like after, so I went to Cape Cod even where they filmed this, and I went to the same town and shit and everything. And of course, it was like all fucking like Jaws and shark fucking gear, right? As a kid, I had like a fucking cheesy gold chain with a shark tooth. It was like one of my favorite things. I had a big shark tooth fucking and his gold chain that I got in like Nantucket, fuck. Now the movie Jaws is good. Jaws 2 is acceptable, but once they get into Jaws 3 and shit, and it's Lou Gossett Jr. and fucking 3D and shit, they, you know, they jump the shark, so to speak. That's the definition. It's funny because it's been on all day, and I can't lie. I've watched Jaws like 3 times today, I think. AMC seems to have Jaws on a fucking loop. I'm assuming now that Jaws is over, it's going to be Jaws 2 again right now. Yes, sir. Jaws 2. I can live with it. Yeah, I was pissed off, man, when Rocky fucking... I was pissed off when Rocky fought Apollo Creed. I remember I went to see the movie in the theater with my mother, and I told my mother, I was like, this is bullshit. I said, this fucking bum's never going to fucking beat Apollo Creed. I told Carl Weathers that. I had Carl Weathers on the show. I told Carl Weathers I was the only guy in the theater pulling for Apollo Creed. Yeah, I've been to Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, you know what? My childhood wasn't like so easy actually, Kovac. So I'll take adulthood over childhood, but I hear what you're saying. I have a few nice memories. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, man. Like that's the thing. Like I'm from Montreal, right? So a lot of people from Montreal vacation in a lot of people and they vacation in like Maine, you know, and Cape Cod and stuff. So I've been all there. Nantucket, Provincetown, Providence, in Rhode Island, Maine, New Hampshire. People don't realize how close fucking Montreal is to the United States. It really is crazy. You know, like even here in Toronto, it's a little bit of a drive to get to the border. It's going to take you about an hour or something. Like Montreal is fucking like it's fucking close, man. Like I was in a car once with Dog, the old time, our boy Dog, the old time caller, and he was all fucked up, man. And within 15 minutes, like we were on the bridge to the United States. It was a bad time. I was like, bro, we're hitting customs here. Fuck, you got to turn around. A bunch of weed. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, holy fuck. Like New York, man. New York fucking state and Montreal are fucking close. Like it's literally like 37 minutes or something, and you're at the border. Like there's all people all the time in Montreal accidentally go to the border and shit like that and get caught up, and people always pull out and shit, and then they get pulled over because if you pull into a customs check and turn around and shit, they get suspicious. So it happens like every fucking day there, man. It's like a big thing. They're used to it, fuck, almost. So Babano is going to step up and join us, a.k.a. Mr. Bean. Babano. What do I think of Belgium plus Croatia to win in regulation? Also, can we get Big Man on Campus's opinion on this parlay? Yeah, let me call Big Man right now. Where's my phone? Hey, Big Man, what do you think of the parlay? You bald jive turkey. The quality of troll, 2018. The American educational system at work. Hey, fuckface. Why don't you go play with some fireworks? There's going to be thousands of fireworks accidents this evening. Let's hope that Mark 2131 is one of them. Let's hope that, you're one of them. Well, you bald jive turkey. That's some quality work right there. Yeah, why don't you pull a fucking Jean-Pierre Paul and go fuck yourself? You know, I believe there's like 137 people a day that die on a highway somewhere. But maybe this fucker could be one of them later tonight. Hopefully you have to take a drive somewhere later, asshole. I don't know. Is wishing death on trolls too hard? I don't know. I've actually ethically wondered that. I've actually ethically thought to myself, is that too harsh to wish like death on these people? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm actually not that type of person usually, but you know, you see it on the news. There's always innocent people dying and shit. And then you get these fuck faces that are still alive. It seems like a bad trade-off. So, you know what? Yes, I do hope that you get hit by a fucking bus tonight, fuckface. There'll be one less fucking idiot in the world. As far as Belgium winning in regulation, that's bold. That's bold. That's a bold pick. Now, listen. To me, Brazil and Belgium is going to be a classic. To me, Brazil and Belgium is going to be a classic. I actually don't think it's going to be decided in 90 minutes. We talked about this last night with Big Man on Campus, and to me, I think every one of these games legitimately can go into extra time. Now, it doesn't mean that they all will. It doesn't mean that they all will, but if 2 of them do, you're making money. If 3 of them do, you're making nice money. Uruguay and France is going to be a motherfucking battle. I mean, you're dealing with the elite of the elite now left in this tournament. France are an elite offensive side. Uruguay are an elite defensive side. It's fire and ice. It's fire and ice. And it's going to, you know, the friction, I think, will just sort of collide at midfield often. Like, I think it's going to be quite the stalemate. Uruguay and France, because Uruguay are just going to play very, very, like, cautiously, except France can, like, France have these momentary lapses on the back end, right? They're not the best defensive team. They're good, but they're not the best defensive team. You know, we saw Argentina score a couple of times on them, right? This game, once again, is very difficult to cap right now. We're going to have to wait until Thursday night because we don't know about Cavani. If Cavani doesn't play, it's pretty tough to back Uruguay here. But to me, Uruguay are an extremely live dog at plus 360. And, you know, I think more so to advance than to win in regulation. But listen, I've got a future on Uruguay to win this thing. It's the only future that I have. So I'm already on the Uruguayans here. And I think they can beat France. I wouldn't be shocked if France wins. I mean, it's a motherfucking toss-up at this point. But to me, Uruguay have the style to fluster France. All right. I will admit it's too harsh for the guy to get hit by a bus. How about he misses a bus? How about he misses a bus? How about he misses a bus and he gets fucking stuck in the fucking desert? Fuck. Is that better? How's that? Like that Michelle Wolf fucking chick, man. Her fucking joke about fucking Kellyanne Conway when she said, wouldn't it be great if like Kellyanne Conway got fucking like hit by a tree in the forest? Everyone was like, kind of like, you know, you can't say that. And she goes, you know, doesn't kill her or anything. She just going to get stuck under the tree for a long time. So You know, I'm going to copy Michelle Wolf's joke on this, and I'll just say the same thing to the trolls. I take back you guys getting killed and hit by buses, all right? How about you just, like, miss the bus and get fucking deserted and get the fuck out of my life? How's that sound? What do I think about Miocic and Cormier? I think that Stipe Miocic is just too big for Daniel Cormier. I think Daniel Cormier is too old for Miocic. I'm disappointed the number is what it is. I was hoping that it would be a little bit, I was hoping that Stipe wouldn't be quite as big of a favorite as he is, but I'm a big Cormier fan. I think Cormier is an awesome fighter, but Cormier is undersized here. He's undersized. Cormier's he's got like he's 40 years old, man. His knees are fucking shot. If he gets beat up by John Jones, what do you think is going to happen against fucking Miocic? What's up, Sonny Vega? Yeah. We just hope you miss. We just hope you miss the bus. You missed the bus. Ortega and Max Holloway is about as difficult of as a fucking fight to pick as there is. Like, honestly. Like, picking a winner between Ortega and Holloway is like having fucking Nicki Minaj and Beyonce there, and you can only choose one of them. It's like, wow, fuck. It's one of those. Like me, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to take Ortega. It's one of these fights, I almost don't want to bet it. I almost feel like it's two kids of mine fighting each other, and I don't want to watch it even. Like, I don't want one of these guys to lose to the other guy even, but they're both such good guys. So, like, I feel bad even, like, taking Ortega to beat Max Holloway because I love Max Holloway. I've had him on the show many times. He's a great guy. He's an easy guy to pull for. But so is Ortega, and I don't know, man. Max Holloway's a fucking warrior, man. He's at all these Hawaiian guys are fucking tough as fuck, man. All right. I lived in Vegas for fucking 3 years and never really, ever scared about a situation I got myself in. Except once when I pissed off a fucking Hawaiian dude, man, at the Stratosphere. I remember telling Shell Dog he showed up at the Strat and he goes, yeah, what's up, man? You all right? I said, bro, I got a problem, fuck. I said, you see those fucking Hawaiians over there? I said, I fucking really pissed one of them off, man. And I said, it's not good, fuck. The guy, like, this isn't good. Normally I'd be like, I don't give a shit about this guy. I was like, he wants to kill me, fuck. Like, he told me he's going to kill me. Yeah. Never piss off a fucking Hawaiian, man. Or a Samoan. You know what I mean? Like, if you learn one thing from me tonight on this show, learn one thing from me tonight on this show, it's don't piss off a fucking Hawaiian dude. You know what it was? It was in the Sportsbook. It was Super Bowl Sunday. It was in the Sportsbook. And this guy was taking forever in line, and I told him to hurry the fuck up. I said, would you hurry the fuck up? And this dude turned around, man, and he looked like Mark Hunt, fuck. He turned around, and I was like, holy fuck, man, I just made a big mistake, fuck. He was like, what the fuck did you just say? I had no choice. I had no choice. I couldn't, you know what I mean? So I said, come on, man, you're taking forever here. And he was like, why don't you? He goes, you want to fucking go? I was fucking, so. So I had to. Yeah, this guy was fucking pissed, man. He was fucking pissed. I put my tickets in after. I'm all shaking and shit. I'm all like, he's standing there like waiting for me, like after the line and stuff. And I thought, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm about to get fucking beat down here, man. It was the Baltimore San Francisco Super Bowl. All right, like I said. So this guy, it was the Super Bowl. The only thing that saved me is I had 1 million drink tickets. So after about like 2 hours of me sitting there, like with this guy looking over at me, like, and I was thinking, all right, fuck, this guy's plotting to fucking get me, man. Like every time I got up, I was like, fuck, he's going to get me now. So finally, I amassed enough drink tickets and I went over to the guy and I said, listen, bro, I said, I'm sorry for fucking telling you to go fuck yourself. And, you know, I said, you know, I'm kind of drunk. And, you know, I fucking basically, I just said, listen, man, I said, I'm stressed about the game, you know, and the only thing that saved me, we're on the same team. He was like, he goes, I know you bet on the Niners. It's cool, man. And I gave him like fucking 20 drink tickets. I was like, here, have some drink tickets. He was like, he goes, you got a lot of balls, man. You're all right, fuck. And I told him, we were joking after. I said, bro, right after, man, I said, I really regretted upsetting you. He was laughing, fuck. I got kicked out of a fucking Hawaiian restaurant in Vegas too, fuck. And it was the same shit. The guy I was with was like, bro, man, don't piss these guys off. Like, they're going to kill you. Like, they won't just kick you out. They're going to beat you up on the way out. Yeah. Fucking. That's the moral of the story. Don't fuck with, that's the moral of the story. Don't fuck with a Hawaiian or Samoan person. So, with that being stated, Max Holloway is as tough as they come. I just think Ortega is a special fighter. The only, you know, my deal is Ortega hasn't been in the wars that Max Holloway has been in. Max Holloway's been in wars. Ortega's always sort of won easily. You know what I mean? So there's always sort of a there's always sort of that trepidation on betting on a guy that's never been in a fucking war. Like, we've seen Max Holloway in wars. I mean, the guy went the distance with Conor McGregor when he was 22 years old, right? Like, he's been in fucking wars, man. Ortega hasn't been in wars. Ortega, like I said, Ortega seizes you and waits, and then fucking out of nowhere, you're done, right? It's a different. Holloway's going to get into a street fight. Like, Holloway's like a street fighter. You know, he doesn't mind just getting batshit crazy, and whatever happens, happens. Like, Holloway, that's the thing about Holloway. He doesn't really have a distinct style, or, you know, oh, you got to watch out for this one thing with Holloway. It's like, no, man, Holloway will punch you. He'll elbow you. He'll kick you. He'll fucking knee you. Like, Holloway loves the fucking flying knees and the elbows, and like, he'll turn it into a chaotic sort of fight. Ortega's going to be more fundamental, moving around and shit. But I think Ortega just has more power and more explosiveness than Holloway. But Holloway might be tougher than Ortega. I don't know Ortega's toughness level. Obviously, he's tough, but everyone's tough until we see them get punched in the face, right? Oh, yeah, that's the real main event. No, Chuck versus Tito, man, like, holy shit, bro. Chuck versus Tito is like watching two fucking 80-year-olds have sex, fuck. What's up, Henry? See, earlier you guys are like, oh, it's too harsh, that you said you hope that the trolls get hit by a bus. I don't know. It's the same dude, man. It's like, holy fuck. Why don't you go bother big man on campus? Like, why, I love you, big man, but like, dude, like, I what's the deal? Like, fucking, I don't know. It's the 4th of July. I guess fucking the institutions are closed today. The probation officer, like, it's the 4th of July. What can you do? Evidently, the fucking losers are fucking allowed to use computers tonight. It's all right. Trolls give you views, people. I don't give a shit about trolls. If I reacted every time there was a fucking troll. Guys, we have millions of viewers a year. Fuck. Like, what are trolls? Like, what are you going to do? Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Ortega is like a boa constrictor. That's a nice comparison. It's a great fight. It's a great fight. It's, this is the plus side of the bright side of the UFC. There's a lot of dark sides of the UFC, but this is like, this is something they can be proud of, this fight. The main event, the main card, it's entertaining enough. And the thing is with Miocic is the odds aren't high enough that you can't use it in parlays and stuff. And like I said, I got a lot of respect for Cormier. And you got to respect Cormier for taking this fight against the heavyweight champion of the world. But Stipe is better than people give him credit for. Stipe is better than people give him credit for. Even myself, I've doubted him in the past. Because he's also one of these guys. He's not really great at anything. You know what I mean? But the thing with Miocic is, number one, he's big. He's like 6'5". People don't realize how big he is, all right? So he's big. Number two, he's fucking strong and shit. He's a fireman still. He's not like rip strong, but he's just sort of that fucking, Croatian Cleveland tough, He's like an iron worker, fireman, he's just like, so he's batshit tough. He's 6'5". He's got good fucking hands and light feet for a big guy. He was the Golden Gloves boxing champion of Ohio as a youngster. So he was a wrestler at Cleveland State, not the best wrestling program, but still, he was a good wrestler at Cleveland State University. Like, he's got a little bit of everything. He's got heart, he's got size, he's got determination, he's got good hands, he's got a fucking shin. We've seen him get fucking rocked. He's a good wrestler, so, like, it's not like fucking Cormier, I'm going to take this guy down easily. No, you're not. He's 6'5", and if you try to take him down and get close to him, he's going to punch you in the face. And Cormier's going to have to punch up and shit. And I know we've heard it, I'm used to fighting taller guys and shit, but it's different, man. Miocic is a fucking heavyweight. It's just, he's a big, thick fucking dude. Maybe 5-6 years ago, Cormier could beat him. And I've always said this, and that's the one thing, too, that I've always wished to see about a rivalry would be, I wish we would have seen Daniel Cormier at like 30 fighting John Jones at 30. You know what I mean? Like, they're not on the same time zone. So it's like Cormier's like 40, 38, and fucking Jones is 27. No wonder Jones is beating the shit out of him. Plus, Jones is on steroids. Right? But Cormier's that good. He is that good. But now it's another level. Fighting the heavyweight champion, it's too much. It's too much. I think Cormier could beat some UFC heavyweights, but, Cormier has won at heavyweight before, right? He won the Grand Prix tournament at heavyweight. You remember he picked fucking Josh Barnett up and fucking slammed him. And You know, he's a big dude, and Cormier trains at AKA, and they say that he tosses the heavyweights around with ease. But like I said, he's 40 years old now. He's got bad knees. No, like I said, I'm a Cormier fan, but I just don't think he can win the fight. I just don't think he can win the fight. Miocic's just too big. He's just too big. What's his what is he? He's fucking and you know it's funny because 35 is kind of old, but Stipe's kind of a young 35. You know what I mean? He's a young 35. It's not the same. Daniel Cormier has been fighting a long time. Cormier's been fighting a long time. Cormier was an elite fucking wrestler. Cormier's an Olympian. You know what I'm saying? He's been around forever. His knees have been through fucking hell and back. And if you look at Miocic, he really hasn't been, he's never really been beat up or anything. You know, he's lost before, but, you know, he was in that one fucking bloody fight. Who was it? The one that was with Mark Hunt, was it? Or the Dos Santos. He's had a couple of wars, but he's not, you know what I mean? He hasn't been fucking he hasn't been through the same grind, his body. Like, he's much fresher than Cormier is. Like, Cormier can barely walk, guys. Like, if you see Cormier in real life walking and shit, like, he walks with a limp and his knees are fucked. He's had, like, numerous surgeries on his knees, this guy. You know, he does more TV now. He's more of a, you know, he doesn't fight. Remember when you see Cormier, even recently in his last few fights, besides the Jones fight, he just sort of lies on top of you now, you know? He's not winning the fight. He's not winning the fight. All right, we went on a little UFC tangent. We'll send the link over to Babano. There's a card on Friday night as well, actually. There's a card on Friday night, the Ultimate Fighter stuff. I don't watch that TV show, though, so tough for me to fucking give you picks on those. But the thing is, there's a lot of other fights that aren't the people from the TV show. What's up, Justin Mills? We'll run down all of our UFC picks Thursday and Friday. Like I said, there's a card on Friday night, so that'll give us something as well. Friday live. It's International Fight Week, I guess, there in Vegas and shit. Kenny Fong. The Wicked Wednesday from Morency Sports Studios on Sportsbook Review. Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano, steps up and in. Brought to you by Campbell Soup. Campbell Soup. Family nutrition for the whole family. All right, so as we were just rolling along, And we're already 46 minutes in, but we were in the middle of some UFC talk, and you see Babano popped up in the chat. He's like, hey, I gotta come on. So Babano just interrupted the smooth flow of the program, which this better be good. Now he's got to be even better right now because we were sailing along here. Babano, what's going on, Babano?
No, keep going with UFC talk. I can't wait for the show Saturday. I'm loving it. I'll be watching it. I'll be tuned in. By the way, happy 4th. A little happy 4th of July toast to all of our American viewers. Hope you enjoyed the holiday. Had some good barbecue food, fireworks, the whole bit. So happy 4th of July to everybody south of the border. And by the way, all day long I've been rocking this, my T-shirt here. A little stars and stripes. How do you like that? Don't say to me that Ian Cameron doesn't care about his American friends. I sure as hell do. Hope you're enjoying the day.
That's pretty good, but I don't know. Where'd you get that T-shirt?
I've had it for a couple of years. Actually, it was one of my trips. It was actually one of my Vegas trips, Gabe. It was a long time ago. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. One of the times I was not there with you. It was I think when I met Teddy for the first time. I was actually a client of Teddy's at that time, and I met him for a meeting, I guess, of sorts that time. So, and that's the trip where I got it.
Good stuff. You know what? I don't have any. The only USA stuff I have. I used to have a USA soccer jersey somewhere. I don't have it anymore, and I still have it somewhere, but it's so old. It's discolored. The white's not so white anymore. But I actually have a Dream Team USA, the original Dream Team jersey, David Robinson. That's from 1992. So old jersey. David Robinson, the only USA shit I have actually. But I got a Team Canada. I got some Team Canada shit too. But yeah, I don't have any Uncle Sam stuff.
No, I mean, this is the only thing I've got that's the American. I'm like, I haven't worn this for like months. So I said, what better time than to do it right here on July the 4th? But yeah, everybody down south, hope you're having a good day. Big Man and Donnie, of course, 2 guys I work with regularly. Drew Martin, too, even though, he's making his home in Costa Rica right now with the SBR crew. But yeah, July 4th, it's lots of baseball too. We're seeing I got an over just now that cashed for me, White Sox and the Reds. So I was very happy about that. I had over 10. It was 6-4 since like the 4th inning. Finally got that game over the total in the 8th inning, but I'll take it.
Well, listen, we can't go on because everybody's commenting on your hair, Babano. Of course, people need to comment on your hair.
I knew it would get all kinds of discussion, and I knew it would get all kinds of talk. Look, it's hot as fuck right now here. It's like 90 degrees on a daily basis. I think you've taken a couple of years off your life. Like I told you, the slick back hair look, you look like the bartender on Archie Bunker. Like now, this is you've taken like 5 years off your life. Yeah, I look like I'm from the 70s or something. I should be 50 years old, not 33 in a week or so. I can't believe it, but yeah, I'm worried about being 33. Some people thinking with my old hairstyle, I look like I'm fucking 50. So
exactly, you've added.
So like, I'm younger. Huh?
It's like me, man. If I don't shave for like fucking 4 or 5 days and shit.
Yep.
I swear to God, man, I look like a convict and old and fucking. I already look old, but if it's amazing. Like it's the little fucking things, right? But yeah, you've taken. You look 5 years younger, Babetta.
It's funny. I did get ID'd the last time I was at an LCBO. No bullshit. No bullshit. I actually was asked for my ID last time I was at the LCBO, and I say to them, and they look at the card. Whoa, sorry about that. No, I said that's okay. I don't mind that. That means I'm doing something right, right? If you think I'm that young.
You're better to be, exactly. You're better to be ID'd. It's more flattering, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah.
Except,
No, they're the ones that are upset and mortified. They're the ones that, oh, sorry. I'm like, no, don't apologize. Obviously, hopefully that means I'm still coming to the LCBO in 80 years from now.
You know what's fucked up? I actually got ID'd in Halifax. And I actually was pretty perturbed by it, to be honest, but they're basically, it's the policy. We have to ID everybody. I'm like, because I kind of looked at the dude. I was like, really? You have ID? I was like, yeah. I just fucking, I was like, yeah. It's like, yeah. Like, you're going to ID me. Fuck.
Yeah.
It happens, though. There's a place in Vegas, actually, that ID'd me. And I asked the guy, I said, because you need ID to come in. I said, do I really need ID to come in, or you just don't want to let me in? He's like, well, yeah. I was like,
could you clarify that for me, please?
Yeah. Whenever I'm ID'd, I think it's more of an excuse and a reason, like, as opposed to them questioning my age, you know?
Yeah, they just want an excuse to kick you the hell out. Well, who's kidding who? Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be surprised, though. I got ID'd, like, the Rogers Center IDs you a lot. It was a few years ago, but remember the Bills were, it wasn't that long ago. I got ID'd at a Buffalo Bill football game in Toronto, and I wasn't impressed. I didn't have ID, and they wouldn't serve me the beer. I just went to another fucking window, and I got it. But fucking, I was lost. I fucking tore into this chick. Fucking. It's like, yeah. I don't look 21. I know. I'm aware of that. Fuck. Like,
yeah, you're getting a lace tirade from me if I get barred from getting served alcoholic or liquor beverages because you don't think I've got no ID and you think I'm not young enough. At that point, it's not funny. When I've got the ID and I can prove to you I'm old enough, I'm okay. But if I don't have it and you're still not going to serve me when I'm clearly old enough, that would bother me. That would get under my skin a little bit.
Yeah, I like what Sean said. They want here. That's what they do in Vancouver, actually. When we went to that club, they fucking want ID. And I same shit. I said to the chick, I said, really? And she said, oh, it's not to check your age. She goes, we put all the people who come in this club into a database. She goes, to check for gangs. I was like, oh, that's great. Fuck. You know what I mean?
Regarding this hair, and I know what people are still talking about it, this is the hair I get in the summertime, like very short. You know, I don't want, like, when it's hot, you don't want a ton of hair on your head. And unfortunately, Gabe, I've got the kind of hair that it grows like my front lawn during the summertime. You know, you need a lawnmower to go. It just won't stop. It just grows.
Your hair actually does sort of look like grass.
Yeah, it does. We got it nicely manicured right now. Exactly. You can, you know, it's nice and it's got the blades. The blades are sticking up. Yeah.
I know people just
water it.
Will Wally says he's going to go to Supercuts and ask for the Babano. Yeah. All you got to do is just take a still shot of Babano's shot here. Just take a still shot. They keep a still shot of Babano's head and just take it to the barber and say, I want to look like this guy. But
the thing is, in the fall and winter time, weather gets colder. I can't have hair that short because, you know, it doesn't feel as well having short hair in the winter time. And this style with long hair, Gabe, it sucks. Okay, there's no way to put it. This style sucks with very, very long hair. So that's why usually when I have the hair as long as it normally is, when I don't have it cut, that's when I slick it back.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about with long hair. You have no hair.
Well, now I don't. But I'm talking about in the fall and the winter. I purposely say, no, I'm not getting the short all around haircut. It's just, it's wintertime. It's too damn cold. I'm looking at a situation where I just want the short hair like this, you know, in spring and summer when it's hot. When it's cold, I want longer hair. You know, I don't like the short hair, and long hair, like looking like this, is terrible. So that's why I push it back. And like I say, I refuse to have hair just flying over my forehead. It looks terrible. Hair hanging don't like that style. Wouldn't look good on me. Doesn't look good on me.
The next time you go to a Tie-Cat game, you're going to have to fight the ladies off. The cheerleaders are going to be looking.
I wish they shared your sentiment, Morency.
Yeah, the cheerleaders are going to look up into the stands and go, oh, fuck, look at that guy. Now that's a good haircut.
We'll see. We'll see in a couple of weeks. Speaking of the Tie-Cats, couple weeks before their next home game. What the fuck's going on here? I had a home game last week, and now I got to wait till July 18 for the next one. What the hell kind of schedule we got here?
I know the flow of the CFL schedule is often tough like that too. And it's weird too because the Argos, we were at that Argo home opener, you and I, a couple of weeks ago, and they pushed it a lot. And I didn't even know when they were playing again. I'm like, oh shit, they're playing again here on Saturday. You know what? I think I'm going to go, actually. I think I'm going to go. It won't be the big party and barbecue and everything again like last time, but I'll let people know if I go for sure, if you want to go down. The game's at 5:30 on Saturday, actually. So I was thinking maybe I'll go to the football game. And because, you know, oftentimes with the Argos, that's what I do. I go to like the first game and I don't go back. I'll go like, you know, I don't go back after, you know. So I want to support the team. It's close to my house. It's good to get out and shit. You know, I sit inside too much, I think. So I wanted to get out and get tickets for fucking cheap. The game's at 5:30, then the UFC's after, right? So pretty good timing. I'll go to the football game, have a couple of drinks, get out, and I'll come back and do the Patreon show on watch the UFC.
Yeah, have fun, enjoy. Unfortunately, I got birthday parties the next 2 weekends, and both of them are for me. Well, this weekend, this Saturday, we're doing a big one. We're doing a birthday party for 3 friends, for me and 2 other of my closest friends. I've known them forever. We all have birthdays within like 5 days of each other. One is on July 8, one's on July 12, and I'm on July 14. And we're like doing everybody. We're not doing 3 fucking birthday parties. We're doing everybody's party all at once. One day this Saturday for the UFC. Watch the CFL as well. So that'll be a lot of fun.
What's the that's the big birthday bash?
The big birthday bash. That's right. Yeah.
When's your birthday?
3 birthdays all at once. We're doing them all. We're celebrating all the birthdays this Saturday. All at once.
Babano brought up that it's his birthday like 10 times in the last 5 minutes. So when's your birthday, Babano?
The official day is next Saturday, the 14th.
Holy fuck.
But we're doing it this Saturday, yeah.
It's July fucking 4th right now, and Babano's talking about his birthday. My birthday. 10 days away, Babano.
I know. I'm celebrating it much earlier than I thought I would be. It's going to be on the 7th because of, I don't know, there's shit going on with it. Everybody. The only time to get everybody together the same day is this Saturday. So that's why it's this Saturday. Next Saturday, I'm doing the family birthday thing in Mississauga, actually. Yeah. Relatives there.
Is there going to be cocaine at the party?
With some of them, perhaps, yeah.
Maybe.
Yes.
We
know people that they could hook us up. Yes, they won't be hooking me up with anything. The only thing I'll be hooking myself up with is some.
There's going to be no blow at the party. Are you guys crazy?
You don't know the people I hang out with, Gabe.
Are there going to be chicks there?
There could be, yes.
There could.
Unfortunately, we got a lot of friends that are married, so you can't hit on their wives or anything like that. It doesn't work that way. Bring the wife. No, there will be.
Married?
Yeah, there's a couple friends of mine that are married. They'll bring the wives for a bit. I'm not one of them.
I'm actually fucking in regret.
And I do not mind, actually, that I'm not married. Not one bit. I love single living.
Hey, you're living a dream, fuck.
That's the thing. I've said this a million times over. If I'm in a serious relationship, guess what? And I know I'm going to hear it. I've got to check some big 20-star play or some big bet I got going on, and I want to check the score during dinner out with my girlfriend or something. And she'll put that thing away. Pay attention to me. You know, all that shit. I don't want to hear that nonsense. If I want to check a score, I'm going to check a score, please.
Babano reminds me of fucking Milhouse's dad. Fuck. He tells Homer, fucking, this is great. He goes, I get to watch what I want on TV whenever I want, and I sleep in a racing car bed. Yep. Homer goes, I sleep in a big bed with my wife. Do you eat like a big brick of cheese as well? Like George Costanza equates like bachelorhood to sitting there naked eating a big brick of cheese?
Oh, big brick of cheese, no. Gouda cheese I'll have. Brie cheese is pretty good, but slices, little pieces, not a full fucking... Not a brick of cheese, no way. Do you want me to be bound up and unable to, do the bathroom stuff properly? Then eat a big brick of cheese. You'll feel that way, yeah.
Hey, listen, I told the story before. I was having sex with a chick once, and I actually stopped. I stopped and literally like got up and shit and went to the phone and placed a bet. Went to the phone and placed a bet. And needless to say, she wasn't impressed. So, that's at least that won't happen to you right now, Babano, at least.
No.
That's the plus side, right? If you need to get a bet in,
I don't need to be hounded or criticized or, saying, what are you doing? Just get away from that. It's not, why are you betting again? We don't need naggity nags in my life. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I was, pardon the pun, but I was screwed. Pardon the pun, but I was screwed. I was literally like, doing it. And I looked up and I was like, holy shit, it's 6:58. And what was I going to do? You know what I mean? So I wanted to keep going. So I didn't, so I basically said, hold on a second. She thought I was going to the bathroom or something, which would have been all right. But the problem is she heard me on the phone placing a bet on a Miami Heat game. I remember it was a Miami Heat, too. I remember.
And she flipped her wig.
I was like, fuck, I got 2 minutes to call this in. No computers in those days. I had to call it in, right? The old rotary phone. So I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, you got no choice at that point. Yeah, you got caught.
Yeah. She thought it was funny after. I basically, yes, I did win. Yeah, the game won.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's just we.
Yeah, the game won.
There you go. So she shouldn't be nagging you that much then. I won money.
I told her.
It's going to help us. It's going to help our financial future. Yeah.
I said, listen, if you want to go out, like fucking, where do you think I get the money from?
You got to listen to that Yin Yang Twins song, nagging. Make you want to say, kiss my ass. I'm tired of listening to you nagging. Wah, wah, wah. It's a hip hop song. Yeah. I love that song. It describes my plight very, very clearly.
Yeah, Guy Incognitos, I think he's right about that. Like that, the Gamblers Anonymous questionnaire, that's not in it. Have you ever stopped mid-sex to place a bet before? It's like, yes. Yes, I have. They actually, there was a poll.
Welcome to the life of dating and being in a serious relationship with compulsive gamblers. Unfortunately, that's what you got to deal with.
There was a great poll in England. This is hardcore. 40% of men in England would turn down free sex to watch soccer instead. 40% of men said, yeah, like if the soccer game's on, nah, they fucking 40% said they're watching the game. They don't want, it doesn't matter. Like they don't want to have sex. And this is great. 2,000 British men answered this fucking poll.
Yeah, that's a decent sample size. We're not fudging it.
Yeah, so
there's something to that.
2,000 men answered, and here's the excuses too. They actually have excuses. So what did they say with the soccer? Number one, they said, I want to watch the soccer. Number two, I've got a bad back. You've always heard the woman's excuses. I'm on, you know what I mean? I have my period. It's the old one. Remember in the 80s, I'm washing my hair tonight. Fucking, that was like the big thing in the 70s and 80s. A chick would blow you off. Do you want to go out with me? I'm washing my hair tonight. It's like, what, does that take fucking 8 hours? So this is like top 10 men excuses that men use. Like they can't just tell your girlfriend, listen, I'd prefer to watch fucking this soccer game than have you blow me. So
I'm sure that's the case yesterday when England was playing Colombia. I guarantee everybody's saying you.
Dude, you could have went up to a dude yesterday and told him, listen, fucking Kate Moss is going to lick your fucking asshole right now. Or you can watch you can watch Extra Time.
Yep.
They're going to look at you and punch you in the face for like talking to him. Get the fuck away from me.
What did Corrente say in the chat? I missed that comment. Have you seen British women before? How can you blame them for watching soccer? Hey, there's some hot British women.
British women are hot.
Patty Boyd, George Harrison's first wife way back in the day. She was something to look at. Kate Upton.
This is the top 10 excuses that men in England have used. I want to watch the soccer match. Number two, I've got a bad back.
Oh yeah, bad back's a very, very common one.
Number three, I'm too tired. Number four, I have a headache.
Heard those before.
5, work wiped me out. I've been working late. Number 6, I've got work to do. Number 7, I'm too drunk.
Oh.
Number 8, my favorite one. So this is the one I like. Can we do it later after the game?
That's a compromise, though. That's why.
The compromise should be.
Yeah, it is. Come on. Yeah. Yeah.
The compromise is, during the game. That's when you've got like a good relationship.
Yeah.
Number 9, I don't feel well. Number 10, I've got an early start to the morning. Bad back.
Bad back. I'm too tired. I'm too drunk. That's the one that's not going to get you anywhere with your girl. When you say that, I'm too drunk.
Imagine telling a chick, so I got a bad back. Fuck.
Oh, my aching back. How about some Robaxacet for that? You stupid bastard. Yeah.
Are the Spice Girls considered hot? Yeah, the Spice Girls are all right.
Oh, yeah. Jerry Halliwell and Victoria Beckham and what was her baby? Emma something. Can't remember her last name, but
I told people I've seen.
That's bringing back memories of grade 7 class for me, and girls were just infatuated by the Spice Girls in my class that year.
I told people the story. I've seen. I saw Sporty Spice naked, like 2 feet in front of me.
Oh yeah, you did. I remember that. Yeah. Good view.
How many people can say that they've seen a fucking? I've seen one of the Spice Girls naked. No joke. She just popped off her tracksuit right in front of me. Like really, I was standing right there. I was actually sitting right there. And she changed, man. She just took off the tracksuit and
private show. Private dancer.
I'd prefer if it was the hottest Spice Girl to me is the what's her fucking name?
Mel B?
Yeah, Mel B, the black chick.
Oh, Sporty Spice. There you go. Yeah.
To me, Sporty Spice, the hottest one, I think. Sporty Spice is pretty hot. The Beckham's wife there used to kind of be cute, but she's fucking pretty. She's pretty Botoxed up, man.
Yeah, Mel B's hot. Mel B is charismatic.
Mel B's naturally pretty. Like Victoria Posh is like fucking. She kind of looks fucking freaky now. She went too far with the shit. Sporty Spice, the one I saw naked is, she's a lesbian, number 1. That's why she didn't care, I think.
No.
And she's all right. She's not like hot. You know what I mean? She's, whatever. Mel C. All right, whatever.
Mel C. That's the one, yeah.
I think the wildest one, though, is the redhead.
Oh, Jerry Halliwell, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Halliwell. She's the wild one.
No, Mel B is not only hot, but she's hilarious. She's got some persona to her, personality. She's funny.
Okay, so we were just talking about 10 minutes ago about what a great fight Max Holloway and Brian Ortega was going to be.
Do you think that fight is even better and more entertaining and more intriguing than the main with
Miocic? By far.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree.
Yeah, but the fight's off. So it's official. Max Holloway's team and UFC staff have noticed Max has not been normal. This became obvious to many watching his interviews and public appearances. He's been showing concussion-like symptoms before he even started the weight cut and was rushed to the emergency room. Initial brain scan, CMO Cable release. His symptoms are continuing.
That this is legit, right? This is true?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. No, I almost got duped the other night by something it's on Twitter about, Cormier's got an injury all of a sudden just occurred with Cormier. He had to pull out against Miocic, and I realized that then it was a fake. I actually told Brooks that the other night. Yeah, I almost got caught by that, but it was a fake. Another reason to love Twitter. You just never know what's real and what's not.
Yeah, there's a lot of jerk-offs in there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean,
there's always fake fucking shit.
But then I had to go to MMA, the websites. I saw, Ariel Helwani's Twitter and all the UFC insiders, and I saw nothing on it about it. So then I realized, hey, this is a fake. People are being duped.
Well, Babano, you got to have a quick eye, Babano. Like I said, I noticed right away because they said what it was is they put up a picture of Cormier withdrawing from a fight. But the fight was from like 2 years ago. So It was a real story, but it wasn't this week, right? So that's what
it was. Exactly. It was Cormier from like a few years ago. And I'm like, oh, geez. That's what we got to deal with on social media these days. Yep.
So That is very, 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 very disappointing.
That is very disappointing. That's even more disappointing than Miocic and Cormier being canceled.
Yeah, it
That
sucks.
fight was phenomenal. I was looking forward to that. Holloway and Ortega. Are you kidding?
Well, whatever, man. International Fight Week has always been cursed.
International Disaster Week.
No, it is. International Fight Week, UFC, there's always cancellations. There's always fucking cancellations. Like there's never international. There's never fucking, it's insane. It's like worse than a Madden.
They're apparently going to look at a replacement to fight Ortega now, but still not going to be the same.
Well, this is what I was talking about the other fucking day about how they should, they need to have alternates on call all the time. But here it is. So, yeah, 2015 International Fight Week. So basically the July 4th card. Aldo McGregor, scrap. 2016, Diaz McGregor, scrap. Jones Cormier, canceled. Same card. 2017, Dillashaw Garbrandt, canceled. Nunes Shevchenko, canceled. 2018, Holloway Ortega, canceled. So it's basically been 4 years in a row that the main event or the co-main event has been scratched of this July 4th card. I don't know what it is. It's fucking bizarre. Like
This
every fucking time, man. Like fucking there's a card in Vegas this week. It gets fucking fucked with.
We've got it. If you're UFC, you got issues this year. I'm getting livid with what's going on here. I'm seeing weight cuts being missed and failed left and right, causing fights to evaporate. I'm seeing shit like this now where we get all of a sudden a big time match and a big co-main event and your biggest show of the year. Let's not kid ourselves. They've been hyping this and promoting this pay-per-view now for months. It's supposed to be their biggest card of the year.
Yeah, the guy gets a concussion. What do you want him to do?
No, it's tough, but it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's sport, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
you know,
the only thing is the UFC. In the old days, and this is something. Listen, supposedly the UFC is going to have less cards, right? Once this ESPN shit's coming up, so there's actually going to be a little less pay-per-views. They're cutting the pay-per-views down, I think, to 8, from 12 to 8, essentially. And the UFC before, and I remember Dana White used to sell the UFC on the fact that we're not boxing, that you come to our card and all 10 fights or all 12 fights on the card are big-time cool fights. We don't rely just on like a boxing where it's just like a main event and no one gives a shit about the rest. The thing is, the UFC are full of shit. They started to go that route where, all right, let's just make a main event and scrub everything else because we have so many cards. And that's where they fuck themselves, the UFC now. Because it used to be, there's always been cancellations on UFC cards. Yeah. But it used to be, it wouldn't really matter because it'd be like, well, fuck, it's still fucking stacked anyways, even without that card. Even without that fight. It's not like that anymore. Now they just always make the card top heavy, and if the fucking main event or the co-main event's gone, suddenly you got an average fucking card or even a no card where it's happened where they're like, fuck, we got to scrap the whole fucking card because the cards suck so hard because the undercard sucks so hard. That's where the UFC brings this upon themselves by not just stacking each fucking card all the fucking time, but they can't stack all the cards all the time because they have too many fucking cards now.
They have too many cards. There's a fight night every week or every other week. There's a pay-per-view now once a month. And then there's a bunch of other things they do. Now they got Dana White's Tuesday night series going on for the young up-and-comers that are trying to get a UFC contract. So there's tons of UFC content. And a lot of it, even though it's good for the fight fans, sometimes live content, it's oversaturation. I don't think they've built up the depth of talent yet with this UFC.
Well, it's not oversaturation. Hardcore fans, you're a casual fan, Babano, right? So,
well, I'm more into way more into UFC now than I was, say, 4 or 5 years ago.
I know you're still a casual fan. Like you're not.
I'll watch I've been watching the Tuesday night series.
Yeah, I know, but there's like, I'm not saying you're not a fan, but I'm just stating that there's people that sort of understand this shit and they're not going to cry. It's part of the sport, essentially, right? It's like complaining if there's not enough scoring in soccer or something. Like the weight cut shit's out of control, but that's always been a fucking problem with fighting. Like fighters never make weight. It just, especially the bottom line is UFC is not that professional of a league. So if you have these not so professional people, don't be surprised that they don't make weight. If you want to pay people $16,000 a fight and you're going to sort of get these, There's a reason why, boxers don't miss weight because they're pros. There's a lot of scrubs that fight in the UFC, like that aren't like great fucking, they're not rocket science. They're fucking dumbasses. Like you have one job to make fucking weight and you can't. It's pretty stupid.
Well, we saw Dana White lose it with CM Punk and Mike Jackson, that fight in one of the recent events. I mean, that was just a disaster, that fight. And those are the kind of fights that you're trying to somehow avert from showing up on a main card like that.
Brooks is not, people are in more UFC cards, the better.
Yes, more. I love more UFC cards if the talent, the depth is there for quality fights. Yeah.
The only thing is they can't. It's just when they charge people, right? Because people want free fights every night. People will watch, but it's just they charge people for these pay-per-views, and they're not very good.
Yep.
That's to me, that's the UFC's problem.
And don't forget, Dana's trying to shill this Fight Pass like crazy, Gabe. Content on Fight Pass, yeah.
All the negativity about the UFC over the last couple of years, and trust me, I'm at the forefront. There's a lot of bullshit things about that company, but the actual product has been very good. Like, that's the one thing. Like, pretty much every fucking UFC card, man, in the last 6 months has been pretty fucking good. Like, they're delivering very good fights. So, there's less casual fans than there used to be. The sport isn't as popular as it was. I mean, the ratings are down 50%. Who's kidding fucking who?
Yep.
But they still have, like, a hardcore base of people that'll watch no matter what,
No, it's by the way, and obviously speaking of MMA, this is not UFC, but obviously announced this week that we're going to have a reenactment of Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell, put on by Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya. I don't know.
Bad for the sport.
I don't know. Come on. I mean, that's a great main event in 2008, not 2018. I mean, that's the problem right there.
What's a joke? I didn't know
the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Why is he doing this, Gabe? Gosh.
I didn't know that Oscar De La Hoya was involved in the promotion.
It's not even a UFC event. The UFC wouldn't be doing that.
It's not Bellator, that fight?
No, it's Golden Boy Promotions, and Oscar De La Hoya is apparently the proponent of it, or the proprietor of it. And apparently it's going to be later this year. They're trying to get this done, but this fight happened by the end of the year 2018.
Yeah, that's fucked. You know what? It just goes to show. This just goes to show what a fucking hypocrite. What a motherfucking hypocrite Oscar De La Hoya is.
Yeah.
Oscar De La Hoya fucking cried the most about fucking Mayweather and Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Like, he bitched the most about that.
So bad for boxing.
This fight, it's bad for fucking boxing. It's an embarrassment.
Fucking hypocrite. I agree.
Makes a mockery of everything. And now he turns around and he puts on it's the same bullshit. And he wanted to fight Conor McGregor. Like, De La Hoya, it's hard to take this guy seriously after all this. And then he fucking actually wants to be involved in this.
Trying to make a cheap dime. That's all he's trying to do.
It's beyond bad. Fuck this. Yeah. Beyond. I don't support any of this shit. And I know a lot of these guys. I like them and shit, but yeah, I'm not supporting Vanderlei Silva against fucking Rampage and fucking Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell. It's fuck, man. It's like, let it fucking go, guys. Fuck it.
Those are the three guys that got me into MMA and got me a big fans of MMA and UFC was Chuck, Randy Couture, and Ken Shamrock back in the days. Those were the three.
I always thought fucking Chuck Liddell would be the one guy that wouldn't do this, that would get it.
So did I. I was stunned by it. I'm like, Chuck Liddell's actually going to agree to this, sign up for this, do this when he has been retired for what now? 8 years?
Well, the thing with Chuck Liddell is he has money. Fuck.
Yeah.
So, like, Chuck Liddell's a smart businessman. He's not like Chuck Liddell's actually a really smart guy in real life. So it's just strange because he has money. He's not broke, Chuck Liddell. So I guess Liddell just probably figures he's going to be able to fucking beat Tito easily. That's the way I think he's thinking.
I think so. I think he's thinking, you know what? I want to show people I'm coming up, on 50 years old in a few years. I'll show you I can still do it and get it done. I don't know. Maybe it's an ego thing. You just want to show that you can put one more notch on your belt sort of thing. I don't know. Can't be money, Gabe. You're right.
I think he actually doesn't like Tito. I think that's what it is more than anything. Yeah, no, like Chuck Liddell's not broke. Like the guy's got money.
Like he's going to be 49 fucking years old later this year, Chuck Liddell, and here we go with him and Tito in 2018. Yeah,
like you said, Ty Rich, in the interview. I know, like Chuck Liddell's doing this because he thinks he's going to win, and number two, he doesn't like Tito Ortiz. Like I think he legitimately wants to fucking knock Tito out just like one last time and fucking just sort of to ride off into the sunset with a fucking win against Tito Ortiz, you know?
And you're exactly right, Profits for Life, our good pal Steve Pushy. You're right. We all are probably going to watch this. Yes, it could be an absolute shit show. It could be an absolute train wreck, but I'll be the first one to admit right here, right now, guilty as charged. I'll probably be watching it.
Yeah, I won't go out of my way to watch it. I'll tell you that much. Like, you know, yeah, I guess fucking it'll be head to head with some college football. And when is it? On a Saturday night or whatever? I'll flick over for a minute, but I can't support that shit. All right, so let's get into the CFL. Begins tomorrow night. Already into week 4, man. Time fucking flies, huh? The Hamilton Tiger Cats are -7-point road favorites. Ticats, a nice start to the season for the Cats so far. Nice win last week. Looked good at home. Hamilton -7 on the road against Saskatchewan. Brandon Bridge will be the starting quarterback for Saskatchewan. He could be, you know, he's under the microscope, right? They're going to be keeping an eye on him. That Wofford guy could come in. I don't really, you know, I'm surprised at 7 points on the road. But Saskatchewan right now, guys, really seems to be a real shit show. I mean, fuck. This Duron Carter stuff on defense is, you know, it's like taking Odell Beckham and making him a DB on the Giants. Like, I don't understand why they thought this, why they did this, why they continue to do this. And then they sign a guy this week in Saskatchewan who's a first-round pick as a defensive back in the NFL. And they said, you're going to play wide receiver. And people actually thought it was a joke, but it's not a joke. Like, I don't know what the fuck Chris Jones is motherfucking doing right now with this roster. It's criminal. Like, it's beyond baffling, but Rider Nation they've had fucking enough of this bullshit. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, to sum up last week's shit show, and I had watched that, unfortunately, with Saskatchewan, their offense last Saturday night. Brandon Bridge is throwing picks and falling down and falling down. Brandon Bridge is throwing picks and falling down. He plain sucked ass last week against the Montreal Alouettes. That was inept quarterback play last week from Brandon Bridge. I couldn't believe how bad he was in that first quarter. I honestly think, and I said this to a buddy of mine at halftime, did he throw more completed passes to Montreal players than Saskatchewan players in that first half? Felt that way watching that game. It was awful. But at the same point in time, what's Chris Jones thinking, yanking him that quickly second half for David Watford? For a guy that you just signed with no CFL experience in the offseason to come in and he was every bit as bad, you're going to yank Bridge that quickly?
Bridge is who he is, right? I mean, he's a young guy. They all, you know, he frustrates the coaches all the time. It happened in Montreal, so he gets pulled quickly, but he can play. You're going to have to let him fucking shake it off, right? And make a couple of mistakes and keep it going. But it's pretty clear right now. I don't know. I mean, Chris Jones fancies himself as some sort of fucking football genius, and he's got the biggest attitude out of any fucking coach in the Canadian Football League, but it seems like he really doesn't know what the fuck he's doing this year.
He looks like he's overwhelmed. He looks like he's flustered. He looks like he's panicking a little bit. I mean, it's time to stop the Duron Carter experiment. I'm 100% on board with that. He has now been burned like twice last week for a big pass play against him. Chris Williams got behind him on a Drew Willie touchdown pass last week. Same shit happened the week before. That's it. This guy's been growing up his whole life playing receiver. Okay, it's time to get back to what he does best. It's time to accentuate his skill set, and that's being on the offensive side of the ball. It's time to put that defensive back experiment to rest now, I think, with Duron Carter. Especially when you see, Gabe, they don't have a ton of depth at wide receiver. Other than Neiman Roosevelt, there's not a lot there at wide receiver for Saskatchewan. You need Duron Carter on that side of the ball. It sounds like they're going to put him back there for this game from what I've read. Hamilton's got some defensive injuries, Gabe. I mean, the joint was jumping last Friday when I was there. It was a great game. The crowd was into it. They were loving it. It was a great performance. They got some injuries, though, going into this game, Hamilton on defense that concern me. Adrian Tracy on the defensive line's not going to play. great pass rusher. Looks like Richard Leonard in the secondary not going to be in for the Ticats here either. So that's two big defensive players. This should be a bounce back game for Saskatchewan. I mean, they've worked all week trying to fix this offense, Gabe. They've focused on it. They know it was really a disaster last week against a bad Montreal team offensively. They've got to shore that up. I think they can a little bit. I think Hamilton wins, but I'm not laying 7, Gabe, with Hamilton on the road. No way, no how, for as good as they've been the last 2 weeks. And they've been miserable in Saskatchewan. I can't even think the last time Hamilton won a game in Saskatchewan. They've got Saskatchewan at their most vulnerable right now. They will not have a better opportunity and a worse rider team than the one right now to finally beat in Regina. But I got to see them do it before I can believe it. I actually think this game could not fly over the total, but get over the total. It's 50. I think Saskatchewan has worked real hard on offense. They can't be any worse. I think they will play a little bit better. And I think Hamilton's going to move the ball, Gabe. Their offense looks tremendous, especially since they got Terrence Tolliver at wide receiver back from injury. And Masoli's had 300-plus yard passing games to start the season. So I think Hamilton's going to get their points. I'd look at the over in that game.
Well, it's going to help the over because Deron Carter's starting at cornerback, they announced. So Saskatchewan.
That could be good for the over, actually. You get burned again.
Deron Carter. And what's crazy about this?
This
Deron
is insane.
Carter,
yeah.
Now the players are all talking about it and shit. So Brandon Bridges, the quarterback, who needs help, says, I'd love to have him on offense. He would have the same impact that he did last year. The defensive coordinators are probably scared to have him out there because he's definitely a playmaker for us. He gets so much attention. It helps free up other players as well, says the quarterback. Deron Carter. I like being on defense all the time because I like to affect the game. But I still want to be on offense. I don't like being on defense when we're out there going 2 and out. It's not conducive to us winning. I want to be out there as much as I can. And now Brandon Bridge is talking about how Coach Jones is the head man, and if he wants him to play defense, then hey, that's what it is. Whatever he says, we have to follow. We may not agree with it, but he's the coach. We're a team.
That's not a good quote. That's a terrible quote by Brandon Bridge. That tells you right there. Your coach is a fucking idiot. Yeah, that's basically
honest. I mean, no one in the fucking right mind thinks having Deron Carter play fucking defensive back right now is a fucking smart idea.
And what's Deron Carter thinking, saying, I want to impact the game for my team? What, do you mean in a negative fashion? Because that's what it's been the last couple of weeks. Your ass has been burned for big touchdown bombs against you.
I can't worry about the fans. If we went undefeated, no one would complain. I remember when we won the state championship in high school, I was sitting in a cafe the next day and somebody said we didn't throw the ball enough. The fuck does that mean, Jones? I don't give a shit about your fucking high school championship. It's fucking stupid. It's inept. And quite frankly, I think it's a fireable offense. Like, if I own this team, I'd fire the coach almost. Like, I'd tell him, I'd say, listen, you fucking idiot. He's not an offensive back. Like, you know, I don't know. Why don't we make Brandon Bridge the safety tomorrow, too? I don't know what the fuck they're doing, man. And I'm with you. I look at 7 points. I want to take these guys, but I know it's dysfunctional in the room. I know the players think it's stupid. The media, is ripping them right now. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous what they're fucking doing.
I can't do anything with this game from a side perspective. I will not be at all involved in this game from a side perspective. I actually did take a small bet on Hamilton when it was -5.5, -6, because it was a good number. I don't want it at 7, 7.5 now. I've seen enough of the Ticats, and I know this team inside out to know I don't want to lay a full touchdown with them on the road, even against a dysfunctional team. It seems like this is a huge adjustment, Gabe, off the loss to Montreal for Saskatchewan.
On CFL.ca right now, there's a poll. Should Deron Carter play on offense or defense? 95% offense. And normally I don't really care what the public says, but I don't even think 95% of the people can be wrong. You know what I mean? Like 95% of people, seriously. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say about this. I can't get over this. It's fucking stupid. I'm surprised his father, Chris Carter, hasn't flown to Canada and punched Chris Jones in the face yet.
No,
yeah, Jerome Messum's melting off too. Messum's never getting the ball. Messum's fucking melting off. It's a dysfunctional fucking room, that room, man. Look, we just read it. Brandon Bridge is fuck, we don't agree with it, but he's the coach. It's a shit show, bro. It's a shit show. I actually think Hamilton might fucking drill him tomorrow, Babana.
I hope so. I'll be rooting. Yeah, again, I'll be a Hamilton fan tomorrow night. Not a Hamilton better, but I'll be a Hamilton fan. And if they do beat up on Saskatchewan, I will be very, very happy about that. And this team, the Ticats, I don't know if the atmosphere spooks them, being out in the middle of nowhere there in Regina, Saskatchewan spooks them, but they have never won in a million years in Regina. It's time to fix that. It's time to fix that tomorrow night, and I think they will. I don't know about cover, but they'll win, I think.
No shit, Saskatchewan should have traded Kevin Glenn. I think the game can get over the number 2 at 51. You're right, because Hamilton's going to score, right? Hamilton probably gets into the 30s. I just don't know if Saskatchewan can keep up. Like, they might hang around for a while. I like the over here, too. I think it can get there to 51.
I wouldn't have been on the over if Hamilton didn't have the defensive injuries that they do. They've got a couple key guys out on defense tomorrow night. That's enough of a concern where I do think Saskatchewan can maybe do a little bit of something offensively. They can't be worse than last week moving the ball. They can't. It's not possible.
All right, so Friday night, this is interesting. The Montreal Alouettes, who, I swear to God, I got to call my friend in Montreal, who's close to the Alouettes, because he's fucking 0 for 2, this guy, man. Like, I swear, man. I remember last year he told me, he said, listen, it was like Thursday night. It was like Friday morning. He sent me a text, and he goes, he said, 15 guys on the Alouettes are fucking wasted right now. And he goes, they're all on ecstasy and Molly, and there were a bunch of chicks. And he goes, trust me, they don't care about this team. They don't care about the game. And he goes, lay the wood, man. And that was the night they beat Calgary, fuck. So, same shit. I see this guy in Montreal last week, and he knows the team well, fuck. Like, he's on the inside. And I said, so what's the deal with the Alouettes? And he goes, oh, man. He goes, I was just with them. And he's like, it was right after they lost 56-10, too. And he goes, I don't think they're going to win a game. And he's like, they don't think they're going to win a game. And he was telling me, I'm not going to say the guy's name, but it was one of the fucking bigger names on the team. He's like, yeah, this guy like fucking flipped. He wants to get traded, and he's freaking out. And it's a real shit show behind the scenes. And then what happens for Bano? The next night they go out and fucking win a game. Fuck. Like, I don't know. Like, did anyone see that with the Alouettes coming last Saturday? It was unbelievable. They went in there. Like, Saskatchewan was that bad, but now, Montreal's got a little confidence going right now, getting 7.5 on their home field here. You know what it was, too? Montreal was better, Babano, without Drew Willie. Yep. When Drew Willie was out, the offense got better. That's what happened.
He had one good play, Willie, and that was to Williams that burned, as we mentioned, the aforementioned Duron Carter. That was about it from Drew Willie in the first half. I
told you about Babano earlier, though. The Alouettes have good wide receivers, bro. Like, those guys can get open. Fuck, they just need someone to get them the ball. That's the Alouette's strength is their wide receivers.
Well, I like Cunningham. Williams, if he stays healthy, can show you that he's still got that great speed to get behind the corner, and he did that last week. But beyond that, I've still got some concerns about the depth. But no, Jeff Matthews now is going to be the starting quarterback. It looks like he's been practicing with the team all week. Looks like he's going to be in there. I don't know if it's injury or performance related with Drew Willie. I think it's more injury related, concussion. Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be Jeff Matthews. But again, here's a guy I saw up front and center here in Hamilton, and I never was impressed with anything I saw out of Jeff Matthews in a starting quarterback role. Now the spotlight's on you. Now the pressure's on you. Ottawa can game plan for you now because they know Jeff Matthews is going to be the starter for this game too. And let's be honest, Gabe, that Ottawa defense, even though they lost last week in Calgary, that defense was great. Defense was fine in that game for Ottawa. The problem was their offense was inept against that Calgary Stampeders defense, and it cost them in that 24-14 loss, cost us a cover with Ottawa plus the points in that game. Frustrating. They had the opportunities and couldn't punch it in.
A lot of drop balls last week, too. They were sloppy, the wide receivers.
It's a great quote by Sinopoli. Sinopoli actually had a quote in the Ottawa papers earlier this week saying, we dropped a lot of passes. That's on us. We can't do that again. We got to be better than that. I actually think Ottawa will beat them handily here. I really do. I got to see it again from Montreal before I'm convinced there's any sort of turnaround. You don't lose and fail to cover 13 straight games in a row by accident. I don't know if one win against a Saskatchewan team that gift wrapped that game from Montreal on a silver platter is enough to prove to me that the Alouettes are back on track. Ottawa's dominated Montreal too. 5 of the last 6 they've won. 5 of the last 6 they've covered head-to-head against Montreal. They've really waxed Montreal here at Percival Molson in the past. There's been a couple big blowout wins for Ottawa on this field in recent years. So anything less than 7, I think, is a good lay price here with the Red Blacks.
Yeah, I'm perturbed by these games. The first 2 games I'm perturbed by here. It's a tough week, man.
They're tricky. The first 2, I don't like the side at all in Hamilton. I like Ottawa though. I really do.
The Alouettes, like, I don't know, fuck. I have a hard time. They might show up. They might get blown out. They're a hard team to fucking read, this fucking team right now. So that game scares me a little. I'm glad I have a couple of days to figure it out. And the total at 48 feels a little low there, actually. I think that could go over. And then you get into Saturday's game, and Saturday game is tough as well. You got Edmonton and the Toronto Argonauts. The Argonauts have had a bye week since the massacre to Calgary a couple of weeks ago that we were at. So they've had time. They know that Ricky Ray's out. So James Franklin's been getting reps consistently, with the ones here. So James Franklin gets to start. So if you guys tuning in, follow college football, you remember James Franklin from Missouri. He had a nice run at Missouri, too. Pretty good quarterback in college. He showed flashes with Edmonton, but, he hasn't consistently shown that he can play all the time. Getting 3.5 points here. What do you make? This is really tough a bet. I mean, the Argonauts didn't really look good in week 1. They were sloppy. And then in week 2, they got fucking ambushed. Then they were off. So we haven't seen anything. I mean, quite frankly, the Alouettes have looked better than the Argonauts have this year. So the Argonauts have looked fucking terrible this year. What do you make of this game? The Edmonton Eskimos are 3.5 point favorites.
This feels like a home run spot for Toronto. From a straight situational perspective, it's really good for the Argos. Doesn't mean they're going to win. It doesn't mean they're going to cover, but you can't get better than this, because here's James Franklin now taking over as the starting quarterback for this team now for the rest of the season because of Ricky Ray's neck injury. You give Mark Trestman and this offensive coaching staff a full week, 2 weeks to get this guy integrated into the playbook, integrated into the offense, practices with the first team offense, get him prepared as well as you could possibly be prepared for this game. I think Franklin's capable. I don't think the downgrade from Ricky Ray to Franklin's as wide as some people think. There's a little downgrade. There has to be, but not as wide as I think. James Franklin has started a multitude of games in this league before.
That's what we thought last week, Babado. You and I said the exact same thing last week about Bridget Caleros. Well, Caleros is good, but it can't be that much of a drop-off. And it was. I'm concerned it'll be the same thing. I'm concerned that Franklin will really struggle.
But Bridge didn't get a bye week with a good coach like James Franklin's getting. He's getting a guy that knows some CFL offense, knows it well.
Better than Bridge, too.
And Franklin's better than Bridge.
Bridge is a young kid, right? He only played in fucking South Alabama, right?
That's right.
It's not like he's got – Brandon Bridge only started 26 games in his life. So, yeah, you're right. James Franklin's played in he's played in big-time football games. I thought he was the quarterback when they went to the SEC Conference Championship game 2 years in a row, but I don't think he was actually. I think he might have been in the Big 12 still, but I got to look that up, actually. But anyways, so what, you think the Argos are to play here, huh?
I'm going to look at the Argos.
I'll tell you one thing, sorry, Bano, but another thing is, too, not like Edmonton have looked great either. I mean, they bomb away. Mike Riley's the best quarterback by far in the league. They got good wide receivers, but Edmonton aren't a perfect football team by any stretch.
Very good offense, and I got questions about that defense. They have not looked good in any game. BC stormed out of the gate strong against them. They got better after that, but they gave up a ton of points to Hamilton when we went in there and beat them. They gave up a ton of points to Winnipeg, Gabe, in the first game of the season. Chris Strevler in his very first CFL start, and they had success moving the ball against Edmonton. I don't like the Edmonton defense. They take a lot of penalties, too, that Edmonton defense. So I think this is Franklin at home, bye week, time to prepare against a defense that I think you can have success against. I think it's a good situation here for Franklin. You're going to get some points here in this game. By the way, there's every trend in this game. If you're into totals trends, every trend, Gabe, in this game points to the over. Every single one of them. I mean, you look at it. I mean, there's every single one. Here it is. Let me see. With all these trends, it's over is 10-1 in the last 11 meetings between these teams. 8-1 in Edmonton's last 9 road games. 11-2 for Toronto off a bye. I mean, they're all pointing at this game going over the total. And I agree. This total's been hammered, Gabe. It's 52.5. It's 55.5, 56. And I think it's going to be a shootout.
Babano says the Argos. The Argos at the over. They're giving away T-shirts, too, at this game.
And by the way, Edmonton's only road game, Morency, was week 1 against Winnipeg. They were laying 7.5 against Strevler and the Bombers. They only won that game by 3. So, laying points on the road with Edmonton, I got to see it. With the leaky defense, I got to see it.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast shit goes, eh? It feels like just yesterday actually, it feels like a long time ago, but that Lightning game was the first game of the year. And here we are, we're already into week 4. like before we know it, man, like NFL preseason is going to be here. It's already full. We're in July now. Like, when's the first football game? August 8th?
Yeah, the
August 6th,
preseason's
August
coming up.
7th, August 8th, whatever the fuck it is. So,
Can't wait.
yeah, the Hall of Fame. I think it's August 8th off the top of my head, but I'm not sure.
Gabe, we got to set you up with this little magic box thing that I'm using for my television now. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, for especially, and you brought up NFL preseason. It's going to be amazing for that. All the local regional networks. You won't have to worry about blackouts. You'll be able to get all these games that aren't on national TV.
I get everything online, though. You know, I know those boxes are good, but yeah. I get everything online, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we got BC. So Saturday we got a double header. 8:30. So yeah, the Argonaut Eskimo game's at 5:30 Eastern, and then it leads into BC and Winnipeg, which should be a pretty entertaining game actually. BC and Winnipeg, and should be some points up on the board in this one, Babano, at 55.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a week for overs because we had 3 unders and 1 over in the CFL last week, 3 and 1 to the under. And what did we see this week? Every game I think had a lower total than it could have been. We've seen deflated totals this week in the CFL across the board because we had 3 unders last week. And I think that's why there's some value in the over in some of these games. This is another one. It's hard to bet at Winnipeg under right now. Their defense is leaky. Hamilton shredded them last week. That defense has got issues. I mean, they're not getting stops, the Bombers, right now. Strevler came back down to earth a little bit last week on the road against Hamilton. However, the big news going into this game, Gabe, is we might not be seeing Chris Strevler again for the Bombers. Matt Nichols, believe it or not, is recovering much quicker than people think. He's already starting to take the field, throw the ball around, get some reps under him. Mike O'Shea hasn't ruled out him playing on Saturday, him returning, Matt Nichols. So keep your eye out for that. Not for sure yet.
It's not like Strevler gets the job or anything. He did a nice job managing it, but no QB controversy here. At least they know they've got a good backup QB now, you know?
They do. So Nichols might be back this week. Not confirmed, but certainly it's got Winnipeg fired up. BC, BC, I said last week, I'm not betting BC against Edmonton because their only game was against Montreal, a bad team, and they were mediocre in it. I want to see them beat someone good. Lo and behold, they couldn't beat somebody good. Edmonton took over after a sluggish start. They rolled from the second quarter onward. BC, was blown out really in the second half. So I've got a hard time trusting the Lions here, but there's been one close game after another, BC and Winnipeg. And what I do know, Gabe, is Winnipeg's been a very bad home favorite over the years. Very bad home favorite.
I know off the top of my head, actually. I don't even need to look up the scores, but I'm telling you, man, these two teams play like 36, 35 games and shit, bro.
Bingo. There was one.
High-scoring, crazy close games between these two.
Yep. And lots of overs, 5 and 1, I believe, to the over. Last 6 head-to-head meetings. A lot of 36-35, 31-28, 34-30 type of games like that. Very similar. For some reason, Jennings has played well against Winnipeg in years past. He doesn't play well against a lot of other teams, but he's played well against Winnipeg. BC's defense can be had. That secondary's got so many new people playing in that pass defense for the Lions, and it showed last week. Eskimos picked them apart. Big play, Riley to Duke Williams for a big touchdown. That secondary's got some growing pains for BC, and if Nichols comes back, look out, could be able to exploit it. Yeah,
but Nichols, what's up, McInnes? And it appears we got the real big man on campus in the chat. What up, big man?
All right, good.
Nichols could be a little rusty, though, big man. Babano. That's one thing to keep.
That's true. Yep. He's not. He might not just fly right in there, after a long injury like this, long absence, and be, efficient and be accurate with the football all over the place.
And he doesn't run. Don't forget, he doesn't. He's coming back from injury. He's not going to run. He doesn't run like Strevler too, right? So Strevler took off a lot and shit right away, which because he's inexperienced, but it worked out for him because he's a big kid. But could be sacks and shit that weren't there before. Like it's a change in dynamic of the offense. Even though Nichols is better than Strevler is. He's a different quarterback, right? It could take a quarter or two to get adjusted to it,
No, exactly. That's always a concern I have in any NFL, college, CFL. Quarterback's been out a long time. Everybody overreacts, says, "Oh, they got the number 1 quarterback back. They're going to roll now on offense. He's going to be, lead them and have a big game now that he's back." No, it doesn't always work that way. So yeah, you could see rust here for Matt Nichols, but then again, you're playing the BC defense, Gabe, and I don't know. BC's defense they can be had right now. Their pass defense, I didn't like the pass rush, lack of it against Edmonton. They didn't get any pressure on Riley last week at all. And that could be what allows Nichols to have a big game. If that pass rush doesn't impact the game for BC, Nichols, if he gets time, is going to make plays.
So there's a lot of talk about the Washington. There's been a lot of talk about the Washington Redskins name over the years. I tweeted out a story about the Edmonton Eskimos, and now there's a conversation in Edmonton about potentially changing the name of the football team. But unlike the Washington Redskins, the Edmonton Eskimos owner isn't a cocksucking dick, right? And basically, it's never been brought up before. Like past owners of the Eskimos, it's been 20 years. So anyways, like past owners of the Eskimos never thought about it, cared to be, you know what I mean? But they have a new owner who's very, he's very, very politically correct, the new owner. Like he's got a new mantra. Like he put up this thing about community, fucking give back. And he's dead serious about it. So it's the first time in 20 years that the Edmonton Eskimos, they went up and visited the Inuit in Yellowknife. And they went up to the Northwest Territories. The owner of the team, you got to give the guy credit. The owner of the team went up and he met with the Inuit leaders and he met with all the native tribes, and he discussed with them whether they're insulted by the name Edmonton Eskimos. So he came back and he didn't disclose the study. He basically said, we're not doing this. We're not rushing this. We're not doing this for, publicity. We're doing this because we want to do the right thing. So, we'll get back to you on what happens here. And basically they were split. And the owner said, he goes, I spoke to some tribe guys who said they don't like it. And they say that the term Eskimo is racist and they don't like the name at all. And he said others aren't offended by it and are actually fans of our team. So he goes, I got to look more into this and stuff. But my guess is they're going to change the name. Like I think the owner he's basically softening the blow to tell people we're changing the name. Like I think that's where they're going to go with this. Yeah. And I can't comment on it. Like it's the same thing of me. My gut instinct is just change the fucking name. Like, you know what I mean? Get it over with, change your name now. Like that's the way I would do it. Like me personally, I would change the Redskins name too. It's racist, fuck. It just is. And I don't give a shit if a bunch of white people say it isn't. It is. But the thing is, like, I'm not native, right?
No.
So it's the same thing with that's the thing that bothers me when a bunch of white people will say, it's not fucking racist, the Redskins. You're not native, so shut the fuck up. Yep. Like, it's their call. And, it is. So I like the fact that the Eskimos organization went out here, and it was the first time in 20 years anyone from Edmonton have ever even gone out there and talked to the people. And like I said, I think he's going to change the name. I think it's a good idea. Just change the fucking name, man. Who gives a shit? I don't want to hear about tradition. It's a football team. There's no such thing as tradition, all right? It's a football team. Change the fucking name.
I've gone back and forth with these issues with the Cleveland Indians name and the Washington Redskins name. And now, of course, you're bringing up the Edmonton Eskimos. At first, I'm thinking to myself, well, where were these people 20-some years ago making a big stink about this and complaining about this and all that? But then I start thinking about the fact now we live in an era with inclusion now. People can live lives the way they want to, can represent themselves in different races, religions, cultures that they want to. And if they feel offended or put off by the name of a football team that because it's racist or they feel it's racist toward them or it offends them in some way, then you've got to be able to, yeah.
If you called it the Edmonton Crackers, people wouldn't be happy.
No.
Right? If you called the team the fucking Edmonton Slave Owners, people, white boy, you can't call them that. That's offensive. Well, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny, though, how, like I said, white people are big on that. Like, white people are very, very good at telling other cultures what they should and shouldn't be offended by. Like a great example is now at the Montreal Jazz Festival, they just pulled a fucking show. Like they canceled a concert. It was one of the bigger concerts that they had there. And it's people singing slave songs, except the cast is white. And they're singing traditional slave songs. Yep. And it's like a Broadway production type thing. And I guess it's popular in Europe and shit or whatever, but, it didn't go down well. So they canceled this in Montreal. People are like, what the fuck? Like, why do you guys think this is a good idea? Like, it's not a good idea. So they canceled it. And props to the Jazz in Montreal. They shouldn't have booked it in the first place. Fuck. But
yeah. Well, why don't they put something like that down in Mississippi, Georgia, and Alabama? Let's see how well that goes over there. Yeah. You're just asking for trouble.
Yeah. So, like I said, it just fucking angers me, man, when I see people fucking, specifically white people, fucking, oh, it's not offensive to say the N-word. I hear it in rap songs all the time. Or, well, Redskins, it's a tribute. No, it's not a tribute, fuck. It's not a fucking tribute. It's offensive. Like, it just is. You know, like, I don't understand. Like, people are just racist inherently. I don't know. So yeah, to me, like I said, when I saw the guy say, he wants to change it. He's just worried about the fucking backlash. Just change the name. Like, the NFL should be disgusted with themselves. Like, just change the fucking name, man, of the Washington Redskins. It's pretty simple.
That's the thing. Even people obviously know now after what happened a few Saturdays when I was down there in Toronto with you that I'm a big rap and hip hop fan. And when I'm singing a rap song or karaoke song, I can't come to the grips with actually saying the N-word, even though it's in the lyrics. I can't. I'll say playa. I'll say brother. I'll say something like that. Well, I will not say the N-word.
Exactly. It's funny. There was some big rapper the other day. I don't know who it was, but he fucking invited some white chick on stage from the crowd.
Yeah.
He said, "Who knows the words to this song?" It's almost entrapping. But he said, "Who knows the words to this song?" And some fucking chick put her hand up, and it was a white chick. She got on the stage, and there's a bunch of N-bombs in the fucking song, and she did it. And he stopped the show, fuck.
Yeah.
He stopped and he said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." And she goes, "Well, it's the word of the song." And she actually got into it with a guy on stage. And of course, it was in Alabama. Fuck. Of course. Just by stereotype, it had to be in Alabama.
Yeah, of course.
Was it Kendrick Lamar? Yeah. Was it? I don't know. It was a couple of weeks ago. I saw this. It was like last week or something. You know, but it's tough. You know what I mean? Not everyone that sings a word's racist, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, like, you know, it was sort of like the Virginia Tech women's lacrosse team. There was a video of them on the bus, and they were singing, you know, those words. And people filmed it and put it out there as of, look, like they were like KKK type chicks or something. Like it was a white power fucking rally on the bus. And in reality, they won the game and they were listening to rap music on the bus. And they were dancing and singing and shit, right?
Yeah. So
are these chicks a bunch of racists? Or, you know what I mean? I don't want to get into it because the rap shit's tough. Because it is tough, because the rappers know they're selling this shit to white kids in suburban America, okay?
Yeah.
You're selling this music to these people, and then you're going to get offended if they buy in to what you're saying to them. You're selling them this fucking culture, and then you're offended that they appropriate the culture when you're using them, right? Yeah. Like when a rapper, like when Drake does a record, he's not doing it like for the hood. He's not doing it for the streets. He's selling this in malls, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, what does the 15-year-old white girl like? Like that's what music is targeted for. Like that's the whole, you know, it's, you know, but the rap thing is tough about it. But yeah, good for you. You just skip that word.
Well, I insert another word. Like I say, I'll play a brother, you know, something like just something other than I'm not doing the N-word. Sorry. I know it's in the lyrics and I know when it's coming up in a particular song, especially one that I've liked and listened to for years and years, and I will just put another word in there because I don't want, you know, anybody that could be offended by a white man, in my case, rapping like that and including the N-word in it, being offended. I don't want that. And I don't want to be known as that. So I just, nope, not doing it.
I mean, look at Chief Yahoo, fuck. Wow. Of the Indians. Like, that's not racist? You can tell me that's not a racist logo? Like,
yeah, there you go. It is.
It is.
If one person, Gabe, if one person is offended or feels that's a racist thing, that's too many people. You know, that's the way it is. One person shouldn't feel that way. And it's certainly 10 or 12 or 50 or 100 or 1,000 shouldn't feel that way.
Well, even me too. I never really, I'll be honest with you. Like, I've never been offended by the Edmonton Eskimos. Like the
I have not. No.
like the Washington Redskins, I totally 100% get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, I'm like, that's just flaming racist. It just is. Fuck. I don't even like saying the name. Like, you know, I often call them the Skins, but I don't know if that's any better. Fuck. So, look, even Phil Simms will only call him Washington. There's a lot of guys on TV that only say Washington. They won't say their name. The Eskimos, though, I never really thought of it as offensive, you know? But I'm white. I'm not native. So
Exactly.
I never thought of it. I just figured, you know, the Eskimos, like, you know, they're cold, they're in the north, and that was the, you know, the Eskimo thing. I never viewed it as an offensive name, to be honest. So I'm not even sure it is. You know, like I said, it's an interesting debate. I don't know it is offensive.
That's right. No, it is. It's if indigenous peoples are feeling that
But
way,
again, you know, it goes back to sort of like that frog thing we were talking about. I think it's in that category to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know, they're not Eskimos, they're natives. You know, it's not. It's. Yeah. So, anyways,
I'm trying to remind myself too, because I'm thinking of the fact that I've known and followed the CFL for 30 years in my life, and I'm thinking, how am I going to react now? Not this team not being the Edmonton Eskimos after all this time, and I'm trying to tell myself, don't be a shallow bastard. Think about the bigger picture.
Yeah, yeah,
people
exactly.
are racist.
It's going to be weird to call them the Edmonton Crusaders, right?
Yeah,
like fucking.
You know, let's put myself in the shoes of another human being that legitimately feels scorn and offended by that name. Whether you agree with it or not, they feel that way. And as a result, you know, you've got to look into probably changing the name. You can't, if someone's feeling that way, you got to change it.
Well, the Seminoles, the Florida State Seminoles is a little different in the sense that it's not racist. It's a name of a tribe.
There's people that are upset too, Gabe, by the way, about the Florida State Seminole and the Atlanta Braves, the chopping and the chanting.
Well, the tomahawk chop is no good. When you got that's like that is no good.
Florida State does it. Atlanta does it.
Florida State is different. It's the Seminoles. It's a fucking proud name. It's not a derogatory term. There's a difference between Redskin and Seminoles. And Seminoles is not a derogatory. It's the name of a tribe. And secondly, Florida State were pretty smart in which they paid the tribe. That's another thing. Like the Seminole tribe endorses Florida State. Like Florida State fucking cuts them in and shit. Like they send them money, and you know, it's more of a pride thing. It's not. That's why it's different. Well, what about the Seminoles? The word Seminole is not offensive. You know, the word Eskimo is from the 50s. We shouldn't be using it anymore. It's like using the word colored or something. It's not. Yeah. It's not right. You know what I mean? That's the difference. Seminole is the name of a tribe. It's not offensive. That tribe's in Florida, and the tribe endorses Florida State. Like they are part of it. You know what I mean? Like they take money. They're part of the universe. Like the university ingrained the tribe into the culture of the school, at least a bit.
Yep.
You know, that's the difference.
Yeah, we cannot react. We cannot do something about, you know, people feeling this way about being, you know, feeling that they've been offended by these names and these chants and these gestures. But we can also, and if we do that, we ignore it. We can go back to the days when we were watching All in the Family, when Archie Bunker's calling people coloreds and George Jefferson's calling people honkies and all that. So we can go back to those days too. So, which choice do you want?
I like the Big Will, the cigar store Indian. Oh, it's so bad, that show. You know, it's funny. I hate to admit it, too, because I'm a big Simpsons fan. And I swear to God, I watched a few episodes of The Simpsons the other night online. So I just cranked up like 4 or 5 of them in a row. And each episode actually had a pretty uncomfortable, unnecessary joke. Like, it's amazing how, like, I never really realized, you know, you sort of laugh at first, but, you know, there's an Amos and Andy crack about something. It was like, well, why did you guys put that in there? You know? Why is that even, like, in your conscience that you put that joke in there? There was no need for it, but you did.
Edgy material. Yeah, everybody wants to push that envelope. Yep.
No, I know, but it's not edgy in the sense that it's just sort of racist. And there seems to be a lot of themes of that. Like I said, it kind of disappointing. I saw a couple episodes, and once I was watching and I was like, man, I just realized, and now this is coming up. And I like the stereotype of the Simpsons. You know, about a month ago, there was a big thing about a pool and shit. And I thought it was, it's kind of much ado about nothing. But seeing a lot of other little things from the show, I'm like, yeah, I can see why fucking people are, I see this. But television has always been racist, right? White TV has always denigrated other people. It's just a fact. That's what white people do. Like, it's just, that's entertainment. Hollywood since day fucking one, man. Mickey Mouse, Walt Disney was a fucking Nazi, for fuck's sakes. He is. Like, yep. Walt Disney was a Nazi sympathizer.
And yet he's equated with some of the
racist.
Yeah, and he's equated with making kids happy all over the world.
Disneyland, like, not everyone was allowed in Disney World before Urbano.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when they fucking started to let everybody in, but like Walt Disney's fucking racist. You know, he was a Nazi. He was racist. You know, oh, Snow White and all this bullshit. Like, yeah, that's the thing when people say, I can't believe how racist it is nowadays or whatever. It's like, it's ingrained, man. It's fucking ingrained, man, from Day White to like Megyn Kelly. Santa Claus is white. Fuck. He just is. Like, no, he's not. But, you know, if you want to think Santa Claus is the fucking pedophile down at the mall, go ahead. Fuck.
The million of them that are clearly lurking out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I love the movie Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton. Such a great little satire on the mall Santa Claus.
That's real. Shut the fuck up, kid. Like, that's just great.
That's cool. I love it. I can't get through a Christmas without watching that. Yeah. It's beautiful. What a movie.
Like, I'm not
hilarious too. Yeah.
I'm not Mr. Politically Correct either. Like, I have a pretty dark sense of humor, actually, but most of the things that we see are just patronizing. It just is. Fuck. It's, and people are too dumb to see it, but
yeah, if you love your racist jokes, watch Bad Santa. You got midget jokes, you got black jokes, you got Santa jokes. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, well,
little people
come up with a new name for the Edmonton Eskimos. I was thinking the same thing. It's got to be something E, right? So Edmonton. Elite.
Oh, speaking of elite, Gabe, you know, of course, I'll support local teams in this city. I go to Hamilton Bulldogs games. I support them. I'm a Ticats season ticket holder. I am absolutely fired up for this Hamilton Honey Badgers Canadian Elite Basketball League team that's coming here, a professional basketball team, and in the CEBL league that they're starting up next year. I'm looking forward to that. I want to go to that. I want to get season tickets if I can for that. I'm excited for that because it's going to grow and develop basketball in this country. It's time to stop pulling our sheets over our heads. Basketball is becoming a bigger and bigger thing each year in this country.
Well, in Halifax, they have a
grow the game, grow the sport.
Yeah, Halifax, they have a team in the city, but it's pretty good basketball too, actually. You can bet on it too, so you can lay it down.
It's launching next summer. Next summer, 2019, the league starts. Yep.
We're going to see the Big Three if you want to come up on it's the 27th of July. The Big Three is coming to the Air Canada Center.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah, there's lines on it. Yeah, it's all the former.
Hey, I am betting Jeff Nadeau, big man on campus, is Big Three plays. He's following that. He's on top of that. I think he's doing, from what I've seen so far, he's doing very good with it. So I'm riding whatever he's posting for Big Three. I'm on top. I'll bet it. If he's got a good opinion, I'll bet it. He's following that. It's not bad. It's good. It's good summer basketball. We need it. And this CEBL, Mike Moriali is running this thing next year. It's launching. It's going to be a combination of Canadian, elite level Canadian players that are trying to make it professionally and international players, Gabe. They're inviting players that play in the FIBA leagues over in Europe during their off season, during the summer. They're going to come over and join some of these Canadian elite basketball league teams. So it's going to be good basketball. I don't think it's going to be rinky dink and it's going to be bad basketball. I think it's going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it.
The Edmonton Icebergs. That might be the best name we've seen there.
That's not bad.
Yeah, you want to see a really offensive fucking movie? You guys ever seen those Leprechaun movies? You ever seen the Leprechaun horror movies? I swear to God, man, Leprechaun in the Hood might be the most racist fucking stereotypical. Like, I watched like 2 in a row the other day, or like a couple of months ago. I don't know why Leprechaun was on TV. And I never seen it before. I remember the movie coming out, but it's sort of like Chucky, but it's a little leprechaun. And he's a little motherfucker, this guy, man. It's actually funny, but it's so bad. Like, it's just the stereotypical typecast jokes. Like, I was watching and my jaw was almost like, I was like, I can't believe they actually made this, fucking got away with this. Like, I was going to, oh, that's what I was going to say. We were talking about Archie Bunker and shit. You want to know, like, what would people be offended by now? But it was actually funny, right?
Yeah, it was.
Was like Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
Watch the original Bad News Bears. And I'm not even going to repeat the joke, but when the fucking kid goes off about the team, it's fucking great. Fuck. He goes through like each race. He's like, we got a guy like this. We got this fucking idiot. We got this and this. And he goes, we got a bunch of stupid fucking crackers. Oh, it's like the most racist fucking thing ever. And it's like a fucking kid saying it. But what makes it funny is he rips everyone, right? So he rips like every race. And he's like, fuck, are we ever bad? It's fucking hilarious, that fucking movie.
Yeah, it is. It's
the original
one. Yeah.
Bears movie is the fucking best, man. Like the kids jokes, the kids acting in that movie is fucking gold, man. From the fucking fat kid, the little racist kid, it's just, you know, the coach, hey, chill out over there. Fuck, this kid's like running his mouth.
I really miss Walter Matthau. I really do. He was phenomenal.
Telling the coach, get the fuck away from me, you fucking honky bastard. Fucking, like, the writing in that movie is so good. Fucking Bad News Bears, man. That movie's the best. Fuck.
Yeah, Walter Matthau, one of my favorites, starred in that movie. It was a great, 70s that one came out. Yeah, watch that one, the 1976 version. Bad News Bears, Walter Matthau. Don't worry about the 2005 one. I know they did one, I think, 15 years ago or so. That's not as good. Watch the original. Walter Matthau, that's the one. That's the superior version.
Oh, yeah, well, obviously. Yeah. The remake's not bad, though, to be honest. I'll give him credit. The remake's all right, yeah. But
I found the original.
Obviously, yeah. The Bad News Bears, the real one. Just too good. Like, that fucking movie. It's one of the best. Like, it's probably the best. To me, it's my favorite baseball movie. People always talk about it reminds me too of my baseball team, actually, where I played. Like, we were all different cultures and races and shit. Just a bunch of like fucking delinquent kids, you know? Same shit.
God, Walter Matthau was a funny old prick, that guy. I mean, him and Jack Lemmon had so many of those funny movies too in the 90s to do with them. The Odd Couple and Grumpy Old Men and all that. Oh, hysterical shit.
Yeah, Odd Couple was a good TV show. Oh yeah, the original fucking, yeah, Bad News Bears original. I almost want to watch it after this. I'll tell you what, I got Jaws 2 on right now. This one of the chicks in the boat's fucking hot.
Oh yeah, let's go. Walter Matthau movie marathon. Bad News Bears, Odd Couple. And
yeah, you can't eat any. You can't booger eating more. I love the little kid too. He always wants to fight with everyone, the other team. That movie's just too fucking good, man. I love when they go to the Houston Astrodome. Like, I went to the Houston Astrodome, and that's all I thought of was the Bad News Bears. I was like, this is awesome, fuck. Yeah, I was at the Houston Astrodome looking around. I was like, I remember I told people, I was like, it's like the Bad News Bears, man. We're at the Houston Astrodome, fuck. All right, so
it was very well reviewed too. Critics loved it.
Our social justice talk here.
Yeah, there we go. On we go to Pac-12. We got Pac-12 to talk. Yeah.
Today's actually the anniversary of the movie Airplane. Came out today.
Ah, Airplane.
38 years ago today. Airplane.
Wow.
Come on, Babanda. You know the movie Airplane.
Well, of course, 1980. Yeah.
I saw that in the theaters.
Leslie Nielsen, well, you know, that and Naked Gun with him and OJ when OJ was still out and about.
Like, I don't know how Jaws all day on right now, man. I don't know how I don't know how they don't have airplane on. AMC's big on airplanes. The fucking anniversary. It's the 4th of July. What better than that?
Surely
and the movie Airplane too. There's some real jokes in that movie you'd never get away with now.
Well, even the goofy one-liner that I've heard millions and millions of times is from that movie. Surely you're not serious. I am serious. No, call me Shirley. I mean, that's legendary. People all know that line. Yeah.
Yeah. The pilot with the kid. The pilot with the kid is pretty uncomfortable. Like I said, you wouldn't get away. He's like, you ever seen a grown man naked before, Billy? He's like, you ever seen a grown man take a shower? It's like, really, like if you wrote that like now, like you'd be out of Hollywood. You know what I mean? They'd be like, listen, we read your script, and why is the pilot asking a kid if he's seen a grown man naked before? Like, how is that comedy? like I could just like the way that they throw that in there, it's over the top. Fuck.
These old movies, I mean, we're talking about a bunch of them. There were some classics back then. Caddyshack, Airplane, Bad News Bears, just some.
Yeah, when he says, you ever been in a Turkish prison before? So, the writing in Airplane's great too. It's a funny movie.
Yeah.
The Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and it's fuck. That's a great part too. Hey, aren't you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? He's like, no, I'm the pilot. I'm the co-pilot. No, you're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I saw you play. He's like, no, kid, I'm the co-pilot. The kid says to Kareem, my dad says you're lazy. My father says you don't try. He grabs the kid. Listen, kid, I've been carrying Bill Walton up and down the court for the last 10 years. You battled Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. Fucking grabs the kid. Speaking of good meltdowns, Carlos Gomez tonight on the Tampa Bay Rays fucking had the best meltdown of the year so far. He fucking went off in the dugout.
He's a mental case, that guy. Yeah, he's a mental case, that guy.
The best part was he fucking starts smashing the fuck out of the Gatorade chug, and water's like fucking spraying up, and it's going all over him and shit. So he got soaked in the process. Like it's like a geyser. He fucking smashes it. The water goes up, and he does it like 3 times in a row. Bang, bang. He swung so hard, if you watch, his fucking helmet flies off. Like he swung the bat so hard, his helmet flew off his head. And he was beating the shit out of that Gatorade fucking jug.
I might too if I get shut out by one of the worst teams in baseball today.
I like too when you watch fucking look at the teammates in the dugout. No one like looks up. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, no one like when a guy's going crazy like that, you just sort of look and put your head down.
No, you get the hell out of the way. You stay the fuck away from him and let him do his thing. Let him get it out in the open and get it out of his system. That's all you can do. What are you going to do? Are you going to get in his way when he's in that manic rage state? Might turn around and use the bat on you if you do that.
All right, so let's get into a little Pac-12 talk right now. And I see Brooks is very defensive about the USC Trojans already.
You noticed that, huh?
In which he says, I think that, let's be real, Brooks. You and LV, I don't know the movie Let It Ride. Maybe I do, and I don't remember the name. Come on, UNLV clearly is going to beat them in week 1.
You know what? They won't beat them, but I kind of like UNLV plus the points in that game, I'll be honest. Because USC's playing at Stanford the week after. Is Clay Helton going to absolutely go gusto and game plan for UNLV when he's got his Pac-12 opener on the road in Palo Alto the next week? It's a dicey scheduling situation early in the season there for US. They'll win the game, but we're talking about 26.5, 27 when you're breaking in a brand new quarterback this season, when you lose Ronald Jones, a great running back, when you got some, concerns a little bit, in terms of skill position depth, and defense now is going to have a couple new faces on it as well. So, I'm just saying that they're laying a big number in week 1. They're going to be a good football team. That Pac-12 South game is wide open. Really, there's no clear-cut favorite in the Pac-12 South. I think top to bottom, USC still got the most talent, but Arizona with Khalil Tate back at quarterback, Kevin Sumlin taking over there is in the mix. Utah with Kyle Whittingham's always a pesky football team, always competitive. They're in the mix. that Pac-12 South's wide open. Who knows what Chip Ahoy, and UC is going to do now that he's with UCLA. So there's some good, interesting storylines and teams to follow in that South Division.
Yeah, no, there is. And USC, listen, USC, they, like you said, they lose Ronald Jones, they lose Sam Darnold. Their offensive line is still pretty much intact. Pretty good.
They have Stephen Carr, though. They still have Carr. Carr's a great running back. Carr's like that change of pace back for Jones last year, and he was pretty good.
Yeah,
but he's going to be more featured.
They've got a shitload of fucking talent, right? It's tailback you. They're going to plug in a new fucking dude after that. Same thing with the quarterback situation. They got a bunch of 5-star blue chip dudes between Daniels, Fink, and Sears to step up in there. My deal is, listen, I'm not sure what a great coach Clay Helton is. And, he's sort of thrown into the fire early. He doesn't have a lot of experience as a head coach. The players wanted him. They hired him because of that. And we know he can recruit, but it's not hard to recruit at USC. And it's going to get tougher for him now that UCLA actually have Chip Kelly there. So I wonder about Clay Helton's coaching, in-game coaching abilities. That's my concern with the program. We'll learn a lot about USC in week 2 when I go to Texas, or is it week 3? Whenever the hell it is.
Texas. It's after the Stanford game, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough spot for them after Stanford, too, going in there to Texas. So USC, listen, I'm not ready to write USC up, but Washington are the team everyone's talking about. You got Jake Browning back. You got Myles Gaskin back. You've got a good offensive fucking line. Your defense, they held opponents to 16 points a game last year. They're stacked in the secondary. Washington are a damn good football team. Yet I'm more of a Stanford guy when it comes to this conference. So let's go through the win totals right now. The Washington Huskies win total is 10.5, Babano. Not a lot of room for error right there if you're betting it over. I'll tell you that much.
No, with teams like this that are, everybody's hyped up on them. Washington is being picked by a lot of people to win the North. They've got, an immense amount of returning starters. They've got Jake Browning back for his senior year at quarterback. Myles Gaskin back, a very, very good offensive line, maybe the best offensive line in the conference. That's going to be a very good group. That offense is going to be good. Defensively, I think they bring back quite a bit as well from last year. The secondary in particular. That secondary is going to be outstanding, the pass defense. They got a few more pieces and positions to shore up along the D-line and linebacking core. That secondary looks like a shutdown group. It's going to be hard to throw the ball against Washington. They're going to have the offense to put up points. So you can see why they like them. In terms of the win total, it's tough. I mean, you need that clean ride to get over that number, but I could see them being right around 10 wins, maybe 11. So that's a hard win total to get in on.
And I'll tell you what, if they don't beat Auburn in week 1, which is a freaking tough game, and that game's in Atlanta.
Yep.
That's a tough spot. I mean, I'm leaning Auburn in that spot just because of the fact of like I said, if this game was in Los Angeles or was on the West Coast or it was in Washington, I'd like Washington. But the fact that it's in Atlanta, it's practically a home game for Auburn. They're used to playing in Atlanta. Like, it's the South. It's the SEC. You're in SEC land. Tough spot for Washington in week 1 there.
I want to see what the Pac-12's made of this season, Gabe. That was not a good season last year for the Pac-12. Not at all. Disappointing across the board. No playoff team. Only 2 teams had 10 or more wins. That they were absolutely shit the bed in the bowl games. 1-8 Pac-12 teams in bowl games last year. Not good enough. So the Pac-12's got a lot of improving to do because really, and the playoff committee has not treated the Pac-12 with any ounce of respect the last couple of years. Not that they've deserved it, but they got to be a collective, stronger and better conference across the board if they're going to be send teams into the playoffs. Because last year they proved why the conference as a whole did not deserve any teams in the playoffs. It was a collective flop last year.
The Big 12 and the Pac-12 are sort of the outsiders in this. You know what I mean? Not outsiders, but when a playoff comes, like Big 10, you're in. ACC, you're in. SEC, you're in. And then it's sort of like, wow, we'll take a look at what's going on in the Pac-12 and the Big 12. You know what I mean? Like, Big 12 teams don't always have a free pass into this fucking thing either. But you're right. The Pac-12's been the weak darling out of this Power 5 stuff when it comes to the playoffs. So Washington's 10.5. That's not a lot of room for error right there, guys. So If anything, I would lean with the under, to be honest. I'm not suggesting. We're just kicking at tires. This isn't really just sort of a light graze over. The Oregon Ducks win total is 8.5. Mario Cristobal takes over there. I mean, to me, this Oregon team, it pretty much comes down to, I have a hard time trusting them. Let's just be real. I have a hard time trusting them to get to 9. But if Justin Herbert stays healthy, they're going to be a damn good offense. But I don't think the Ducks are all the way back. 8.5 is a reasonable number. But if I had a gun to my head and I was forced to pick right now, I'd say under. I'd say they're an 8-win team, not a 9-win team.
Oregon's fascinating because with Justin Herbert at quarterback last season, I think they were 5-1, and without him, they were, I think, 1-4 or 1-5. So yeah, that was a totally different football team with Justin Herbert on the field, and he's a good quarterback. And if he's healthy, they're going to move the ball. And their defense played good last year, Morency. That was not the issue. It was the lack of quarterback play after they lost Herbert to injury that doomed the Ducks season.
Jim Levitt's the defensive coordinator there.
What a job he did.
He's still there.
Still there, and that defense, he turned around a bad Colorado defense under McIntyre years ago. Then he went to Oregon, and he did the same thing. That Oregon defense under Brady Hoke was terrible. Brady Hoke, that team never played a lick of defense.
One thing about
Levitt comes in, and look what he did.
One thing about Oregon is 8.5, and their schedule is a cupcake. So they host Bowling Green, win. They host Portland State, win. They host San Jose State, win. Gets them to 3-0. They host Stanford, I think Stanford will beat them. Yeah, then they go to Cal. They beat Cal. That's 4. They host Washington. They probably lose. They go to Washington State. Let's say they win. That's 5. Arizona lose. UCLA and Oregon 6. Oregon at Utah 6. And I'm not ready to say 9. They're too flaky. They're too flaky. Their defense is a little better, and you mentioned Herbert's good. Herbert also played in a bowl game, and they got fucking destroyed. Even though it's not the best, the best analogy to use as far as their team, but I'm not in a hurry, man, to bet the 9 here. Like I said, my gut instinct, even with the fucking 3 wins, these college win totals are sharp, guys, and it's 8.5 for a reason, and I see why. They're either an 8-win team or a 9-win team. They're not a 7-win team. They're not a 10-win team. So they're either an 18-win team or a 19-win, and being 9-3 is pretty hard, man. It's not easy to go 9-3. And even with these 3 automatic, what a fucking pussy schedule. Bowling Green, Portland State, and San Jose State. Fucking pussies, the Ducks, man. Like, that shit pisses me off.
Yeah, that is
call yourself a big-time program, fucking. You're playing Bowling Green, Portland State, and say, "Ooh, look at us." Yeah, so
that is a Dairy Queen soft serve schedule.
Look at Michigan. We're fucking opening up at Notre Dame, on a Saturday night, because we got balls.
Cristobal, how's he going to do as a new head coach? There's another thing.
At FIU before, dude.
For a cup of coffee.
In class, playing against fucking Stanford and Khalil Tate and these guys. They do avoid playing the USC Trojans, which is an advantage for them. But my gut instinct says 8 wins, Babano. I'm going under.
Yeah, they want to run the football a lot more this year, too. Not that they didn't do that before. Oregon, really under Chip Kelly, Oregon was more of a run up-tempo offense, run first, up-tempo offense. They want to get back to run first here, Cristobal's been saying. So Tony Brooks James is the guy you want to look out for. This is a senior running back they've got. He's probably going to put up some monster numbers running the football for Oregon in this offense because they really want to run it quite a bit.
And then we get into the USC Trojans. Win total also 8.5 here. USC Trojans win total 8.5. And I'll tell you, we know that the USC Trojan schedule is not an easy one. So they open up with UNLV. All right, they'll beat UNLV, but UNLV could cover. Don't forget the quarterback, the great young quarterback for UNLV. He's a difference maker. He's a playmaker. He's from Los Angeles, and it's the type of game too that
Armani Rogers you're talking about. He can play, absolutely. Yep.
This is the type of game too that UNLV, they know they're not going to win the game, but if they fare well, it helps recruiting, right? It's a big game for them in the LA market. You know what I'm saying? So UNLV is going to come to play. They won't win, but they could hang around. USC, Stanford week 2. Stanford beats them. I think USC could stumble out of the gate here. You know, it's not disrespecting USC to say they're going to lose at Stanford, Brooks. All right, and I say this because Stanford's got Bryce Love back. They've got KJ Costello back. You know, they've got some guys back.
Pump it up, KJ.
They've got Elvis Costello. Yeah, they've got nice man. They've got some guys back here. And I could be wrong, but I'm calling my shot here. I say the Texas Longhorns, Tom Herman's coming out party is going to be a Saturday night win against the USC Trojans in week 3. But then I can see, yeah, man. And you look, Washington State, all right, USC beats them, in my opinion. They're 2-2. USC at Arizona, I'm high on Arizona this year. I think Arizona will win that game. And they'll beat Colorado 3.
Yeah, non-conference. They've got UNLV at home, at Texas, home to Notre Dame. They have South Division home games against Colorado and Arizona State. Their road games are tricky. You know, Arizona and Utah are right there in the South Division. They get those games on the road. USC.
No, I'm not trying to be negative about them either because I know they're going to be good. Listen, it's hard for me to say to take under 8.5 because the USC Trojans just have too much talent. And the Pac-12 is not great. These teams kind of look good on paper, but they have too much talent to be an 8-4 team. It's good to see David St. George from The Rock kicking it with us here. Late night hours. He's 90 minutes ahead. Big college football fan. Washington State. What's up, St. George? It's hard for me to say, oh, USC suck that much. You're going to go 8-4. So I'd probably say they're a 9-win team, but that schedule doesn't do them any favors, Babano.
Yeah, the one thing USC is going to have though this year, secondary. Is a little bit iffy. Up front, they're pretty good still, USC. I mean, they're going to have some guys there. They're going to be able to get the job done. Nuosu's back. Watch out for this Porter Gustin, outside linebacker. They're absolutely raving about this guy. He actually was injured a lot last year. He's coming back. He's a guy they didn't have on the field a lot last season. They say this is almost going to make up for, losing a guy like Rasheem Green, who was a tremendous pass rusher and getting to the quarterback last year for USC. So, defensively, they're going to get pressure on quarterbacks. It's going to be the pass defense that I'm going to have my questions about. And, of course, quarterback. Who's replacing Sam Darnold? Jack Sears is a guy that actually replaced Darnold, I believe, in high school. He was the next quarterback coming in after Sam Darnold. And now he might be that guy to do it here at the college level as well, replacing Sam Darnold. But it's a wide-open battle. They like the highly touted kid that they brought in as well at the quarterback spot. JT Daniels is his name. That they're raving about him. So it's a wide open quarterback race. We'll know more in a month, Gabe, because fall camp's going to open for these teams in August, and we'll know a lot more about where Clay Helton's going to go with his quarterback this season at that time.
Yeah, let's see. I'm looking right now at the current depth chart that they have.
The quarterback position is obviously the big question.
It looks like,
and the secondary to me. That's USC's question.
Jack Sears is going to be the guy.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Jack Sears, problem is they're saying Jack Sears, he's turning the ball over a lot in practice. They don't like it. But he seems to be the best guy.
Then Sam turned it over quite a few times last year too. So they could live with that.
Matt Fink can run a bit, but his passing is limited right now, they're saying. And JT Daniels.
He's a freshman, but he's got probably maybe the biggest
number 2 style pro quarterback recruit in the country. Yet Daniels he's still in high school, I'm seeing here right now. Daniels just graduated from high school, like literally like 2 weeks ago type shit. He ain't going to Jack Sears would be the guy. Like he redshirted last year. He's way ahead of everybody. Like yeah. I would say JT Daniels is probably the best one and will be the the future USC star quarterback. But
I'm not going to rush him. No,
he ain't coming out of fucking high school and fucking winning this job in 6 weeks over Jack Sears, who's been here for a year,
And who's already had a history of replacing Sam Darnold in high school in the past. So, yeah, I think they could easily defer to him. And unless he falls flat on his face and looks just beyond awful in fall camp next month, I can't. Yeah, it's probably odds on a good bet that he'll be the starting quarterback week 1 against UNLV, Jack Sears. Very interesting team. I'm not selling the talent level on this USC team short, though, in terms of their win total.
I'm seeing that Clay Helton.
I'm neutral on USC. I'm not bet on or bet against.
He's going to give Daniels a chance, actually. He's that good. I don't think Fink or Sears will blow them away. That's the thing.
Well, Fink is not even
Basically,
an issue.
they stated that here it is. Clay Helton fucking hasn't announced who it's going to be, and basically isn't fully comfortable with either of them, and wants to see how quickly Daniels can pick the offense up, and he wants to give Daniels a chance to compete. So, like I said, Daniels is the number. Like if you look at the recruiting here, like basically Sears is the 104th. Sears is the 104th highest recruit in the country. Fucking this JT Daniels kid was the 16th overall in the second quarterback. So like when you're looking at the pedigree here, it seems like JT Daniels' pedigree will take over. So 8.5. We can't go through every team too much, but the team that I like here, the total that I like, Babano, is Arizona over 7.5. This is going to be an explosive football team. Kevin Sumlin's going to win some football games here. I also like Stanford. We'll get to Stanford in a minute, but Khalil Tate's the real motherfucking deal. I'd love it at 7, but it's 7.5. Arizona's going to be a fucking difficult team to deal with this year, man. I expect big things from Arizona.
I started to sour on Sumlin at the end of the A&M run. I mean, how on earth his team lost that game to UCLA? It was that Sunday night game, I remember, early in the season last year. It stunned me. I mean, to me, Sumlin regressed at his job as that A&M tenure went along. Not saying he's a bad hire for Arizona, because let's be honest, he had Rich Rod before that.
He didn't have Johnny. He had Johnny Manziel, and then he didn't. Right? It's pretty simple.
When you have Kellen Mond at quarterback, it's not always easy, because that's who he was dealing with for most of last year. They didn't really have, I believe, Nick Starkel back. Nick Starkel was expected to be their quarterback, and he was injured early in the year and never got him back. But yeah, he's got a great quarterback. I'm not going to deny that here in Arizona. He's got that quarterback in Khalil Tate. I mean, he had a tremendous. He just burst onto the scene. That's really the best way you can put it. Last year, he just came out in the halfway through the season. He started to get his opportunity, and he ran with it. I mean, literally. I mean, he's a dual threat. He can run with the football. He can throw it. They've got a ton of weapons on offense. That's a big time thing for this Arizona team. Even defensively, they've got 9 returning starters back. I mean, it was not a good Arizona defense last year, but they should be improved there. They're going to score a lot of points, but I think they're going to be better defensively and not give them up. So yeah, I think Arizona is going to threaten to win the Pac-12 South. I think they're there battling with USC and Utah. I don't know if I'm willing to put UCLA in there, Gabe. Totally new offense, up-tempo. We'll get to them. No Josh Rosen anymore. But I think Utah, Arizona, USC for sure are in the mix in that Pac-12 South.
Well, yeah, you just answered your own question. You asked, how did Texas A&M lose that game? Well, they lost because Josh Rosen was a quarterback on the other side, right?
And he got red hot.
He lost to
just like that. He got red hot in the fourth quarter.
They blew a massive lead, but
yeah,
Josh Rosen's a fucking, probably going to be an NFL star, right?
Yeah, Arizona Cardinals
overrated. Someone got overhyped a little bit early because he had success early, right? So it really wasn't his fault that the media and everybody blew Sumlin into being this fucking genius fucking coach when he's just, he's another guy. But Texas A&M's a tough spot, dude. Like when is like, that's the thing with Texas A&M. They bitch all the time up there. You guys have never been good. Like Texas A&M are one of these schools. It's sort of like Nebraska, but Nebraska actually have a more case. But Tennessee's like that.
No.
In which they think that they should be 10-2 and 12-0. And you know what I mean? When were you ever that? You know what I'm saying? Tennessee was with fucking T. Martin once. With Peyton Manning, they were okay. They weren't great. They were okay. And with Texas A&M, like, man, I'm old, man. Like my entire life, like Texas A&M's never been that good. Like Texas A&M in fucking the last 50 years have been an 8-win team. That's who you are. So they got all pissed off. They expect, oh, fuck, we should be competing for championships. Why? How? Nobody wants to fucking go to College Station, all right? Like Urbano, that the top 10 recruits in the state of Texas this year, 7 of them went to Texas to play for the Longhorns.
Well, of course, bigger name program, a coach that's a red-hot commodity.
Yeah, but is that Kevin Sumlin's fault? I mean, all these fucking jerk-offs up there at Texas A&M. Is that Kevin Sumlin's fault that 7 of the top 10 kids didn't want to play for you and they want to play at Austin? I mean,
he's going to lose the recruiting battle.
Kids, if you're a stud athlete, why would you want to go to a deserted fucking military town in which the fans are all cadets. Or you can go to Texas and fucking with hot cheerleaders and fucking, you know what I mean, in Austin where it's all loose and fucking free and shit. It's not even a comparison. Like the fact that they think they should be good is comical. Fuck.
Someone was phenomenal at Houston. There's no question. Years and years ago, and he started out at A&M. Well, I thought last year he sort of, I don't know, he not lost the team, but that Texas A&M team had committed way too many penalties. They turned the ball over way too much. I mean, it just felt like they were not coached up as well. That was not his greatest job coaching last year. That's not grounds to fire him. I agree that season last year, and you can't fire him for losing the recruiting war. You can't fire him for that because anybody's gonna.
The SEC wasn't right for him.
Yeah.
You know, the SEC wasn't.
You could argue the SEC hasn't been right for Texas A&M because what have they done in the SEC outside of the Johnny Manziel years? Not much. Yeah.
But it's just, just that conference, the style that he plays, that he wants to coach. Like, now he's got, and the thing is, he's got a dual threat quarterback. Like, look, he got Manziel the Heisman. He helped Manziel get the Heisman. Don't be like, Tate's the front runner for the Heisman. Like, Tate should win the Heisman Trophy this year.
Yeah, and by the way, if we have anybody, Nebraska fans or Tennessee fans that didn't like what we said, we can tell you guys right now, we're not going back to the 90s, and Tom Osborne and Philip Fulmer are not walking through any doors anytime soon. Those days are over, okay? You're mediocre entries right now, both of you, Nebraska and Tennessee. It's over. You're just not big-time programs now. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, Austin is the Texas Longhorns in a couple of years. The Texas Longhorns in a couple of years are going to be a fucking juggernaut. Like they're once they finally punch through, it's going to be fucking difficult to stop that machine there. It's like you said, it's the nicest, probably the nicest. It's probably the nicest campus, or at least best facility. You know what I mean? It's like the best. It's the best facilities. It's pro facilities. The chicks are over the top. It's just the whole thing about Texas is over the top. Like, the Longhorn is just like, yeah, hell, if I was a kid, I'd be like, yeah, fuck. Like, if the Longhorns offer me a scholarship, I'd have a hard time saying no. You know what I mean? You'd have like, why would you say no? You know? The only thing is they're kind of overhyped. That's the only thing with Texas. They're overhyped.
The hype's getting there, but I will say this.
I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about always.
Always,
Texas have always been overhyped. Like, Texas have always been the rich kid on the block, the fucking sexy chick, they've always just had it all, but they've never really delivered. I mean, they used to be good in the 70s a bit. They were good in the 50s and shit, but Texas historically have underachieved. Let's just be real. They have.
Well, and they've got the red hot coaching commodity. They snagged the red hot coaching commodity going into last season. Tom Herman, and Tom Herman's made me a shitload of money in college football the last couple of years, especially as an underdog. How many times have we talked about that in past shows, previewing college football here on this show? Tom Herman is an underdog. How many times have I said that?
Job is asking right now, Labano said, given the description, you're shocked that Manziel went to A&M. Manziel grew up wanting to be a fucking Longhorn, and they didn't want him. They told him, you're too small.
Yep.
So yeah, that's why Manziel went to fucking Texas A&M. Manziel went to some QB camp at the Longhorns in high school shit, and they fucking ignored him. They were like, no. Like, they were not impressed with Johnny Manziel at Texas. That's the thing. Texas have fucked up, guys. Yep. There's been a lot of players, man, at TCU and at A&M, and there's been a lot of players that Texas, their arrogance, fucking didn't want, that went on to be fucking good players. Andy Dalton was one, too. Texas fucking scoffed at Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton had a good career. Like, Texas, that's the thing with Texas, Babano. They fucked up the quarterback position a lot over the years. And they have two good guys coming into the year, but they're going to have to make up their fucking mind, man. Either you go with Buechele and stick with them, or you go with Ellinger and stick with them. Because if you have two quarterbacks, it means you don't have one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's Ellinger has got to get better throwing the football. I mean, that was his downfall last year. And then that's the problem. They got one guy that can throw but can't run. and they got another guy that can run but can't throw. That was the dilemma with Ellinger and Bouchel last year for that Texas team, and that's something they got to figure out. They got to get one guy to do both better, run and pass, or especially pass. And you didn't get that enough with Ellinger. But yeah, Texas, I like them, but again, you're worried about the hype getting to them too much. That wasn't that Mac Brown that rejected Johnny Manziel. That's going back to the Mac Brown era still, I believe, when that happened. I don't even think Charlie Strong was there yet. That was like way back.
Yeah, I think Strong was probably the coach or right around then. Mac Brown was probably the one in high school that, because listen, it's sort of like hockey in Canada, Babano, right?
Yeah.
By the time you're 13, 14, they kind of already know who the quarterback's going to be at Texas. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, who's the kid in the state? And you're not the kid in the state. And you got to understand, Texas also is coming off of having quarterbacks that like Vince Young. Right? Vince Young is 6'4", fucking, big dude, fucking, they looked at Manziel like a little punk, right?
Yeah, they weren't into the smaller, quarterbacks. They were not convinced that's what we want here at the Texas. We're the Texas Longhorns. We don't want some little runt like you playing quarterback for us. And they got their little puff their chest out, beat their chest here, like we're the Texas Longhorns. We're going to go for the big guy.
Does it all the time, dude. We fucking reject kids all the time that end up at Michigan State.
Yeah.
You're too tough. Oh, your SAT score. I don't know about you. Like, Michigan's very snooty too. Like, we have kind of a high bar even for the football team. Like, it's good in a sense because, there's not too many embarrassing things that happen with the Michigan program. You don't really have to worry. No one's getting diddled in the shower and shit there. But the fact that we don't fucking give envelopes kind of holds us back. Like, I'm just being honest here. By the way, I don't know if you or anyone has the Cardinals and Diamondbacks or a bet on that game, but big 3-run home run just now for Yadi Molina, so it's 6-2 St. Louis now. These I like the Cards tonight too. These fucking Arizona schedule is hard though. They'll beat BYU in week 1. Arizona at Houston in week 2 is a tough game. That's a toss up. They'll beat Southern Arizona, so that's 2. They'll beat Arizona State, that's 3. They host USC. They could win, but they could lose. I'll say they win just because it's at home, so that's 4. They'll beat California, that's 5. I doubt they beat Utah at Utah, 5. They could beat UCLA, so they'll get to 6. Oregon, toss-up. Colorado win, 7. Washington State, yeah, they can get to 8. I think this is 7.5. I can see this football team. If everything falls into place, Arizona could be a 9-win team, actually. Arizona State are going to be shit, Babano. Their win total's 5. Herm Edwards, how the hell is Herm Edwards going to do well in college?
If you want to hire a guy that's been out of college football. The last time he was on a college football sideline, Herm Edwards, was 1989. I was 4 fucking years old at the time. 1989. That's the last time he coached in college football. So, I don't understand the thought process here, Gabe. I'm going to come out and straight out say it. Hiring Herm Edwards. I don't understand it. To be honest with you, I might have preferred Todd Graham stay rather than go to Herm Edwards.
Kind of
a little bit of a nutcase, but
I never liked Todd Graham because of just what he did to Pittsburgh. He took a job and split the day after type shit. The way he's just kind of a snake. He's left a few programs in dubious fashion, but they all do. The thing with Graham is the players like him, right? He's a snake and he'll leave your school in the middle of the night, but the players liked him. And like you said, last year, Babano, I swear to God, I think Graham did his best fucking work. They were actually pretty good. I don't know what they expected. They won 8 games or whatever. I remember after firing, I'm like, I don't know what you guys expected. That's who you are. He actually did a good job. I thought Graham, they beat Arizona in the last game. He beat the rival. He won 7-8 games. I thought Graham kind of got screwed over. And you know why, Babano, Herm Edwards got hired, which is the stupidest reason ever. It's nepotism. It's basically the new athletic director of Arizona State is Herm Edwards' fucking agent.
Yeah. Connections, basically. Yeah. Personal connections.
He got the job interview, and Herm Edwards, if anything, is a very good talker, right?
Yeah.
Herm Edwards
very charismatic. Yes.
Contagious guy. and he's an NFL coach. So he went in there and he blew the board of the regents away. Like, that's all he had to do. He met with the president and the dean, and he met with like the faculty of the school, you know, eight people to make the decision type shit, and he blew them away. Because he guy's in ESPN, he's on ESPN, he's a personality. Like, Herm Edwards can tell a story, knows how to talk, and he went in there and they gave him the job. But I think he can coach football, but I don't see like just the nuances of college. And it's funny too, because Herm Edwards, there's a video of Herm Edwards in practice, and he's threatening to cut them and shit. Like, you can't cut them.
You can't cut them.
They're in school, buddy. Like, you gave them a scholarship. So he's
they
like,
gotta
I'll
complete
cut
their
you all.
courses.
Telling it to kids, I'll cut you all and shit. It's like,
Exactly.
Like,
well, that's the thing. If I could listen up, Arizona State. I don't know what your AD department's doing. I don't know what you guys are. Maybe you're the desert air is infecting your brain or something, and you're getting perspiring and you're fainting and it's not making you think clearly. But if you want to hire a coach that's going to give you a little sideshow, a little entertainment factor, give you a little, we play to win the game, and, you know, put your goddamn name on it, and a little fun, have some laughter, have some chuckles, a guy that's been totally disconnected from the college game for 30 years, congratulations, great hire. If you want to hire a guy that can connect to kids, connect to the way college football is played in 2018, spread offenses.
The problem is he'll connect to kids. He's a good guy and shit, right? So the problem is, if you look at most of these NFL coaches that go to college after, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're not ingrained in the college game. And they don't know the high school coaches and shit. That's the big thing, man. Like, you need to know high school coaches in college. So you know who you are already on top of every best player. You already have a pipeline from certain schools to your school. That's why we'll get to it. We'll move on from Arizona, but that's why UCLA is going to be a threat for real now. Like, UCLA was never a threat to USC before, you know, and even in UCLA used to get really good players. But like I said, UCLA never recruited black quarterbacks before. You know, Brett Hundley, okay. But Brett Hundley really wasn't that fucking dark-skinned brother running quarterback. You know what I mean? And they never did that before. And Chip Kelly, the Oregon Ducks, all right, under Chip Kelly, they might as well have been California. Like, you think you got that good getting kids from Oregon? Like, they had a few kids from Oregon. Basically, Chip Kelly's teams at Oregon were all Los Angeles, Babetta.
Yep.
Every one of the star kids from the Ducks is from LA. And Chip Kelly knows, like, Clay Helton's got to be shitting himself, because Chip Kelly knows like 4 or 5 high school coaches really well. Like, really well. Like, there's a high school like right near USC that Chip Kelly and the coach are good friends of and shit. And he's already cutting into this right now. And he's drafting players. He's recruiting players that UCLA didn't recruit before. And they're going to get a lot faster and a lot darker, a lot faster here up there in Brentwood. And they're going to be a fucking load to deal with, dude, in a couple of years. I like the over 5 even this year. Chip Kelly's going to be successful at UCLA. This is a great hire. Give it a couple of years. UCLA will be competing for national championships.
Yeah, UCLA. I mean, this is the Chip Kelly is brought in to do what you talk about teams that were undercoached and coached poorly. Never mind Sumlin. They were coached extremely poorly by Jim Mora Jr. I thought that era was a disaster for UCLA. I was never enamored with what he did there. At least Chip Kelly. I know Chip Kelly didn't work in the NFL. You can say all you want. He was a flop as an NFL coach, but as a college coach, you know what he's done. The resume is pretty impressive, and I think he will get UCLA back on track. He's going to have to find a quarterback. You know, Devin Modster is really the only guy on the current roster who's thrown a pass for UCLA, but, you know, they bringing in some good talent. They got a 4-star freshman they brought in, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, that may be challenged for that quarterback spot. The problem is the offensive line's breaking in a brand new line. There's only a couple starters back. It's a brand new offensive philosophy. I think there's going to be growing pains initially for UCLA. It may not happen for them in year 1, but I think in year 2 and beyond, they're going to be right there in the Pac-12 South again. They'll get back to contending for that division. But by the way, I want to close the thread on Arizona State quickly before we get to the next team. Manny Wilkins. People are talking about how great this guy is. I was never firmly impressed by him last year. There were times he couldn't complete a 10-yard pass consistently. You know, Manny Wilkins has improving to do. You look at this defense, it was miserable last year. They're breaking in new coordinators, new systems on both sides of the ball. A guy that hasn't coached in college for 30 years, a guy that's been out of football coaching it for years. He's been on ESPN all these years doing an analyst role. And then you look at the schedule, Gabe, for Arizona State. It is ridiculous how hard it is. You know, you got Michigan State and San Diego State, non-conference. You got incredibly difficult road games as well in this conference. Stanford, you play Oregon. Think about that. They're a South Division team, and yet the crossover teams they get in the North Division are Stanford and Oregon. Yeah, have some fun with that. That's a beast of a schedule. A coach I don't trust, a quarterback I don't trust. So you know what I like? I like Arizona State under. That's the one under I really like in this Pac-12.
Yeah, five wins for them only. Stanford are always undervalued, man. Their win total is 8. They're just a damn good, solid fucking football team. Love the over of a Stanford Cardinal. David Shaw's, top 5 coach, maybe top 3 coach in all of college football. That's a guy that could step into the National Football League, no problem, too. The guy just does a great motherfucking job. And their schedule, people talk about, their schedule this and schedule that, but they can manage it. It's tough. It's tough, but they'll beat San Diego State. They'll beat USC. They'll beat UC Davis. They'll beat the Ducks. They go to Notre Dame. That's a tough one, but I expect them to win. Fuck. I think Stanford's the best team. People talk about Washington and shit, but to me, Stanford is a team that I trust inside out with my money. David Shaw, Bryce Love, fucking Costello, stacked offensive line. They got a tough schedule. I'll give you this. It really is. I mean, fuck. They go through a run here. At Oregon, at Notre Dame, and then fucking at Washington. There's a couple of landmines along the way here, but they're basically an NFL team. They have the NFL strength and mentality. Like them a lot. I'm going to go over.
Going to go over. You like over the win total? I'm neutral, but Stanford's consistently good, if not very good, most years under David Shaw. I'm going to go in a different direction. You brought up the word over. This is one of my favorite game-to-game early in the season betting strategies that I'm going to pounce on with this Stanford team. I'm going to look to bet this team, maybe even for large amounts, over the total game-to-game this season. This is going to be a great situation because Stanford has been known as this plodding, methodical offense for years and years under David Shaw, with a great defense, and they've played lots of unders, low-scoring games. Their totals, Gabe, have been consistently lower as a result in past seasons with a methodical offense and a good defense. I think they're going to change their stripes a bit. I really like KJ Costello at quarterback. I think he's going to be good. I thought he played well down the stretch last year. They've got a ton of great skill position talent. Bryce Love's back at running back. Their top 4 receivers are back. 4 of the 5 starting O-linemen are back this season for this team. Again, their offense is going to be a very, very good, I think. Their defense, though, Gabe, for the first time in years, has some question marks, Stanford, especially defensive line-wise. They don't have the depth they've had there in years past, and they're replacing more starters along the D-line than they have in years past. And there's some good quarterbacks in this conference. So I think getting a pass rush is not going to be as good or strong or as easily able to get that done for Stanford this season. There is going to be great value, Gabe, in my opinion. Great value to bet them over the total weekly. You're going to get high 40s, low 50s, mid 50s with this team from a totals perspective, and I think we're going to be able to take some serious advantage of this because I think this is the first time in years Stanford has an offense that's way ahead of their defense.
Stanford, David Shaw's been there 8 years. Only 2 times out of the 8 years did he not win 10 or more games. Last year was one of them when they went 9-5. A lot of injuries last year. They went 9-5. The last time he went 8-5 in 2014. The next year, 12-2. Yeah, you look at fucking this guy's fucking record: 73-22. He's been 11-2, 12-2, 11-3, 8-5, 12-2, 10-3, 9-5. So essentially, the win total is 8. In 8 years, David Shaw's never won less than 8 games. So the way I look at this is I'm either going to push or win. I expect to win. An incredible run here, 73-22. It's very difficult, too, because Harbaugh built that program up at Stanford. And a lot of times when a big-time coach leaves a college program, the guy that inherits it is unable to sustain the same success. But David Shaw has been able to sustain that same success. 73 and 22, that's fucking damn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Meeks in the secondary, of course, drafted in the NFL. There's another guy gone from that secondary, too, for Stanford going into this season. So they've got question marks. They really do on the defensive side of the football. They're still going to be okay, maybe good, but they're not going to be that elite, staunch, stout, shut you down Stanford defense. You're going to be able to make plays against them, and they're going to be able to score more points. I'm telling you, Gabe, I love game-to-game Stanford games over the total this season. I really do. There's going to be some great opportunities, I think, with that.
All right, Babano, so we'll get you out of here in a minute. Last one here I see, Oregon State, win totals 2.5. Jeez.
This is a weird situation with Oregon State. Their new head coach is Jonathan Smith. Of course, we know what's his name? The former Wisconsin and Utah State coach. I'm blanking on his name now. He's gone there. He's not back. Jonathan Banks is the head coach now. This is a guy, Jonathan Smith, I should say. This is a guy, the new head coach of Oregon State. He played quarterback at Oregon State for Mike Riley, who was the quarterback at Oregon, or the coach at Oregon State that time. And now Mike Riley is his assistant for Jonathan Smith here, the new head coach of Oregon State. It's just a program that's got such a long way to go. Jonathan Smith was the OC at Washington under Chris Peterson the last few years, so they bring him in as head coach.
All right, what about the win total? We don't need a history lesson of who the coaches were. What about the win total, Babano?
They got a long way to go. I mean, defensively, their secondary, they got some guys back. The quarterback, Luton, is okay. He can be decent. I don't think he can be great. I don't know if I can go. It's a low number. I don't think there's value on the under, Gabe. I'd have to either take a shot with the over, cross my fingers that maybe there's some improvement. The coach has
gotta go under.
better.
I don't fucking like betting this under too much, but I like betting unders when it's low, but they're not going to win 3 games. Like,
it's hard. Let me look at the schedule here. Let me just
they're not going to win 3 games. Like, they get killed at Ohio State. They might beat Southern Utah. Southern Utah will give them all they can handle. They're at Nevada. Fuck. I guess technically they're supposed to beat Nevada, but I guess they could.
Nevada's got a suspect defense, but they got a really good offense. Oregon State.
There's the 2 wins.
Ty Ganji can play.
If everything falls into place, that's their 2 wins there, and I really doubt they're 2-1. But after that, they have zero hope in hell. They're not beating Arizona. They're not beating Arizona State, not Arizona State. They're not beating Washington State. They're not going to beat Cal. They're not going to win at Colorado. They don't have a hope in hell against USC. And then they're at Stanford. They're at Washington, and they host the Ducks. They're not winning 3 games.
That's a tough schedule. I'm looking at Washington, Stanford on the road too.
They're probably 2-10. You're looking at a 2-10 team here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like going under a number that low, but looking at that schedule, that's tough. No, I won't be involved in the win total here with Oregon State. They just have such a huge gap, Morency, compared to the rest of the teams in this conference that I don't know if they can make it up in 1 year.
Yeah, no. I'm going under. There's a few shitty teams this year, guys. Last year I gave you the FAU over. It was 4.5. So I sort of look for, all right, who's an up-and-coming team that I can find a low total on? And
here's that team, and I'm going to go in. I'm going to say that right now, my sleeper, my favorite bet on team in the Pac-12. We haven't even discussed them yet. Cal Golden Bears. Love what they did last year. Love what Justin Wilcox is doing with that program. Here's a program that gets it. We're not hiring Herm Edwards. These guys that have been out of college football for 30 years. Been out of football.
They got to get the 6 wins, though.
They do. They do. From the win total perspective, I'm talking about ATS perspective. I'm talking about cashing, week-to-week tickets.
We're talking win totals here, Babano.
No, win total. They can win 6 games. I honestly think they can. You look at last year, Gabe. I know what's the final record they were. 5-7 last year. Do you know that they lost 4 of those 5 games, 10 points or less?
Yeah, I know.
They could have won so many.
I was on them all the time.
They were in every game, and they were still in that first-year head coach. And that program, Cal football, was in shambles when Sonny Dykes was taken out of there, which couldn't have come soon enough. It was a disaster, that regime. And here's this young guy. He's a bright guy. Look what he's done in 1 year. Ross Bowers, okay, is he a great quarterback? No, but he got better as the season went on. That they're going to be able to have some good targets for him to throw the football to. All 5 offensive linemen are back this year, the starters. The defense, how about the defensive improvement? They gave up 40-plus points per game in each season, I believe, under Dykes. They gave up 28 points per game last year. They gave up nearly 1 full yard per play less on the defensive side of the ball last year than they did the year before. 1 full yard less per play defensively allowed. What a job by Wilcox. I think he did a great job because I didn't think he had a lot to work with, and he got 5-7 and almost a bowl game out of that Cal team. Now you give him year 2, the same quarterback, good offensive line, defense is improved, got better last year, should be even a little bit better than that this year. I like Cal a lot. They're going to be an ATS winner this year. I think they can get over the win total too. Let me take a look at their schedule though before I go crazy with that.
They could get to 6.
I think so. I think they can.
5.5. They're not a 7-win team, so they're either going to be 5-7 or 6-6.
I think they can go bowling.
College totals, guys, they're fucking razor sharp. Right?
Here we
they're
go.
Not giving money away. So
yeah. No, that's true.
It's always the number. Like they're either going to land on the 5 or the 7. So you're banking that they win 7 games. Yeah, it's a leap of faith. Fuck, I agree. They're a good covering team. They can score points. Their defense is fucking terrible. Fuck. So
worst defense in the Pac-12, and they were 1 win away from bowl eligibility. They had so many close losses. 1-4 finish. They had 3 losses by a combined 7 points. But Justin Wilcox has the arrow pointing up on this team. Here's their schedule. Here we go. Let me take a look. Non-conference, they got North Carolina at home. They can win that game. At BYU, BYU's not really exactly been a juggernaut lately. Idaho State at home. Now inside the division, Pac-12 North, Oregon at home. That'll be tough. Washington at home. That'll be tough. Stanford at home. That'll be tough. But they get all those top heavyweights, Gabe, in the North at home at least. So maybe they can pull off a shocker against one of those 3 teams. Maybe. But at least they get them at home. That's the good news, Cal, those 3 teams. And then what else have we got? We've got on the road, Oregon State, Washington State. They can go on the road and beat those teams. We haven't even talked, Gabe, Washington State. Total rebuild job this year for Mike Leach. Falk's gone. The passing of that quarterback that was going to be the new starter this year passed away. They're scrambling to find a new quarterback there in Pullman this year for that Washington State team. Defensively, they lose a ton. Offensively, they lose a bit, especially from that offensive line. It's going to be a long year for Mike Leach. The most entertaining thing about Washington State football this year is going to be his press conferences after the game.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. He really is an idiot, Mike Leach.
That'll be the only enjoyment. Watch his press conference.
For a guy that's supposedly an idiot, for a guy that's supposedly a genius, he's a fucking idiot. He's retweeting like Alex Jones's fake shit and stuff. Like I think Leach thinks that Barack was born in Kenya and stuff. Like Leach is a like the truth is coming out about Leach. Leach is I guess he's an alt-righter. he's an alt-righter. And of course the media, Mike Leach this, Mike Leach that. They always talk about what a genius he is, and they don't talk about all the stupid things he does all the time. You're right, though. They are a little down this year.
Oh, they're a lot down. They're gonna have a tough time of it. And Leach can maybe coach up an offense, scheme up an offense. But
their win total 6.5 too. I'm not sure they can get to 7. All right, so to wrap it up here, Washington is 10.5, Oregon is 8.5, USC is 8.5, Stanford is 8, Arizona is 7.5, Utah is 7, Washington State is 6.5, California 5.5. Arizona State is 5, UCLA 5, Colorado 4, Oregon State 2.5. And when I look at this, I say Oregon State under 2.5. Arizona over 7.5. Stanford over 8. Those are the ones that I like, Babano. Those are the ones that catch my eye the most. I wanted to take Colorado, but I've already kicked the tires on it. Their schedule is pretty tough. It wouldn't shock me if they're a 4-win fucking team. Oregon State's not winning 3 games. Oregon State's not winning 3 games. The Arizona State under 5's all right, but it's probably a push.
Buffaloes are a weird team because I think they bottomed out a little bit last year. That was their fall down season. But I need to see better out of Montez, Gabe. I mean, Montez did not do anything for me from a quarterback standpoint last year. He's very erratic, poor decisions. You know, Philip Lindsay's not there anymore. All-world running back for them. They got to find a new guy to run the ball. Offensive line, they got to rejig that a bit. Defensively, they kind of took a step back now after Levitt went to Oregon. Can they get that defense back on track? So there's questions with Colorado for sure. I think there's a buy low opportunity with Colorado, but I got to see it first.
Babano. All right, Babano.
Yep. Yeah, we're good. We're after 1 a.m. Shit. Yeah, we got to wrap this thing up.
I know. We could have got to every team, but you give us the fucking coaching tree history of all these teams.
Yeah, I think we did. Oh, Utah. Yeah, Utah's good.
I gotta jump in and say, all right, skip two.
Tyler Huntley. I think it's a good year for him.
I do a college football preview with Mark Lawrence. Fuck, it's like fucking 18 minutes. Fuck, we get through 7 teams.
Yeah. For me, it's 18 minutes per team.
Yeah. You get to it. You say, 90 seconds. All right, they got this, and this. I like the over or the under. Good insight, Babano.
That's the problem. I agree with you, honestly. I mean, I want to give great insight, but you're right. It's long-winded. It gets too long sometimes. I agree there. I'm not agree with that.
Well, there's a lot of teams in college, right?
Yeah.
It's tough. So your CFL picks to wrap up, Babano. So if people weren't with us before, your best bet, your best CFL. You don't have to give everything away because you got to make a living, but what do you like in a CFL, Babano?
Well, I want to give a line that I haven't crushed already. I mean, all these lines that I liked initially, they've all moved. You're getting the worst of it with anything I like right now when I'm looking at the current lines. But I'll say Edmonton, Toronto over the number. It was 52.5. It's 50. There were 3-0 to the over Edmonton this year. 59 or more points in every game. I think we can get high 50s, maybe even 60s out of that Eskimos Argos game on Saturday. Weather will be fine. Franklin, I think, is going to be better than people think, and Riley's going to make plays. He just does. And Toronto's defense, they haven't exactly shown us a lot so far.
Babano. All right, good stuff, Babano. I wish you a happy birthday since you're going to a birthday party, but it's fucking next week, so we'll wish you a happy birthday next week.
Yes.
Ian Cameron. Thanks, Babano.
Thanks, Gabe. Always fun. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Have a good one.
That's fucking gold, man. So I think we did like an hour and 10 minutes. We got through like 4 Pac-12 teams. I love Babano. Babano's the best, but I was like, all right, Babano, like, what's the win total, buddy? What's the win total? Alex Jones, fucking Alex Jones promised a civil war today. I guess once again he was wrong. Yeah, settle down. Big man on campus shitting on fucking Kenny Fong. Now Babano's like, oh, I don't like the music. Well, it's a beautiful thing. You guys can play whatever you want on your own shows. The Jazz are a big fan of Kenny Fogg. Yeah, Stanford never get enough respect. Stanford over 8, strong play. Arizona could be interesting. Khalil Tate's going to do so much fucking damage that they're going to win football games. The only thing is, if the kid gets hurt, right? That's the thing with these college football totals, man. There's only 12 games, and the odds makers are fucking sharp with this shit. They have it down to a science. So it always comes down to one game when you bet a college football total. It's always, man, if they could win that game on the road, they could do it, you know, but that's what it always comes down to. Yeah, last year the FAU was graded 4.5. Yeah, we'll find we'll find a couple of overs for you. Paulo Soros. Yeah, but man's gonna tell us, well, settle down, big man. You think Lonzo Ball is a good rapper? Fuck. Big man on campus isn't exactly the best, the most knowledgeable man on the history of jazz and music. All right. Yeah, Kenny Fong's the man. Kenny Fong is the man. We wish Kenny Fong should have more success in the world than he does. Hopefully right now Kenny's kicking it with Lady Gaga or something like that. So yeah, we'll find you a couple of win totals to the over, but most of the win totals that I like the most right now are to the under. Like there's a couple of teams that really are just going to be in a lot of motherfucking trouble to win games. Like UConn. UConn, the win total is 3.5. UConn's not getting to 4. UConn's not getting to 4. There was another team that was really bad. Fuck. We talked about Kansas a bit last night. Kansas could be hard pressed to win 4 games. Their win total's 3. Florida Atlantic this year, their win total is 9. They probably get there again, but fuck, last year was 4.5. I wanted to take Florida International this year over. Butch Davis is a good coach. He does a good job there, but FIU fucking lost a lot of pieces. I don't know if they get to 6. I don't know if they get to 6. Troy at 8.5. I was taking a look at them. Troy should fucking really do some damage in the Sun Belt this year. But we'll lock in our best bets. We've got time. He doesn't come cheap, Mangler. No, bowl games don't count, Scott F. Bowl games do not count. It's regular season only. Well, here's Leah Thompson in fucking Jaws 3 or 4 or something. Look, this is when she's young and hot. The chicks were so much hotter in the 70s and 80s. Fuck. All right. So, hey, good to have you back, David St. George. Yeah, well, there's not a lot of sports on today, Jazz. Yeah, I got Jaws on. Yeah, I'll check it out. I don't know. It's the 4th of July. So, like, Jaws is they have a Jaws marathon on. Fuck. I don't really watch a lot of things, you know. I either watch like old movies in the background, the news, or sports. All right, so tomorrow we're getting back on track. We weren't on the radio today. I'll be on the radio tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And it'll be a stacked show tomorrow, actually. We got Pete Annapolis, former assistant coach with the UMass Minutemen. Ben Kramer, Daily Roto, the DFS CFL guru. He's fucking good. I watch less CNN. They never have any news, so fucking. There's only so much shit you can hear about Donald Trump. I think you'll see CNN. I think CNN's going to start to sort of get away from the Trump shit consistently, but they've kind of fucked themselves. They've talked about Trump daily for 2 years. I don't know what they're not going to know what to do with the airtime now. But I think that CNN's ratings have taken a hit over the last couple of months. Their ratings were pretty good. Everyone always mocks CNN's ratings, but the ratings have been pretty good, but they've taken a hit over the last months. I think it's the Trump fatigue shit. The CNN ticker sucks, fuck. There's no news on it. The CP24 ticker at least tells you what's going on in the world. You're like, oh, fuck, a fucking earthquake in Thailand. Like, you know. All right, so tomorrow night we got a football game. The total is 51. That's what I'm leaning with right now. I'm leaning with the Rough Riders +7 and the over. Tomorrow night, we'll throw down our soccer picks. Tomorrow we'll throw down our soccer picks for Friday's games. And tomorrow night, too, we'll take a look at the NBA Summer League rosters to get you ready. Because the NBA Summer League in Vegas starts Friday. So we'll have full slate basketball. And the good thing is, too, about the Summer League in Vegas is they've got games all fucking day. Right? All 30 teams basically play every fucking 2 days. So there's games like, 1 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon. It's all fucking day. It's great for a degenerate gambler. And if you like the NBA and college, it's a cross between the NBA and college, right? Sort of dudes that have been in the NBA for a year or two, plus the new draft picks. So it's entertaining. It's good basketball. It's entertaining. It's loose. They don't really play a lot of defense and shit. So it's usually pretty high scoring. But we'll jump into the NBA Summer League tomorrow. We'll run through the rosters. The key to the NBA Summer League to bet it is, like, the Spurs are usually good at it. And you'd be surprised, the fucking Warriors. Like, you figure, the Warriors, they're not going to care about the fucking Summer League, but they actually do. Because of the Warriors. Like, the Warriors are usually good. The Spurs are, like, perennially fucking Summer League beasts. I don't know if Becky Hammond's coaching them again. She probably is. Fuck. Like, Becky Hammond won the Summer League championship as a coach. So we'll run through the rosters. We'll identify. You got to find the team. You got to find the team that has, like, the best G League players and the best fucking sort of, like, the Raptors in past years have been fucking good in the Summer League. Like, the Raptors have historically sent a lot of their guys, young guys on the team to Vegas. But I noticed this year the Raptors Summer League team's just sort of a vagabond cast-off team. Like, some of these NBA franchises take the Summer League seriously. It's sort of like NFL preseason. There's a few teams, the NFL preseason, like teams that are trying to build something, take it seriously. Some teams don't give a shit, but, it's like the same with the NBA Summer League. Like, some teams don't give a fuck and just bomb threes all the time and have fun there, but some teams take this shit seriously. Warriors and Lakers playing in the Summer League tomorrow, but this is one of the pre-Summer League shit. So we'll jump in tomorrow, run through the rosters for you. Alex Z asked if I'm tapping out. I never tap out. I'm ending the show, but I'm not tapping out. Exactly. You show up at the Summer League and you play well, you're earning yourself a roster spot, or you're earning yourself, you're getting traded to another team. Like, the Summer League people, it's a real deal. You used to have like an insight to the Summer League. I used to do well at it because no one really knew about it. It's kind of like the late, great Dave Malinsky said, like in the old days, like spring training baseball before the internet, he used to thought he had an edge. And in the old days too, like NBA Summer League, no one really followed it. It wasn't on TV. You could get lines on it at a few books only. Like, even in Vegas, they only had a few select games up and shit. But now it's just full out fuck. Like, pretty much every Summer League game's on the NBA Network. Last year, because Alonzo Ball, fuck, it was a shit show. They were selling out the arena and shit. It's a fucking chick fest, that thing too, man. Like I said, because every young player in the league is there, right? So every fucking hot chick that's trying to hook up with the young player in the league. Every Instagram model fuck is there. But we'll see you guys tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern on the radio. Check out all the SBR content in the morning. Give us a thumbs up on the way out. Check out all the SBR videos throughout the day. My overnight lean right now is the Saskatchewan Roughriders +7 and the over, although I don't really trust the Riders, fuck. But the CFL's a weird league. They probably show up. But I do like the over 51. I'll have some baseball picks for you tomorrow. And we'll have CFL football tomorrow night live during the show. We'll talk soccer. And we'll talk NBA Summer League. Kenny, take us out. Thanks to Babano. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern. Other than that, as they say, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Tap or snap, baby. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.